here. He's going to toss Tusk over to Lina. Actually says, all right, if I'm going down, you're going down with me. But the snowball away. Elisa should be fine. Yeah, Lina can only do so much at this early level to get the turn kill. So good attempt there from Tiny, but yeah, better Ice Shard block initially from the Tusk coming out.
And that was all scouted out by a nice little ward there that they placed. Kind of a fairly defensive ward from mid lane. Actually almost goes down in mid. So the Lina, just one more right click.
Seen that a couple times, living life on the edge, man. But meanwhile, the top lane, Wagamama's going to be rolled in on, and he can't do much to get out of this one. He's going to have to accept death and do as much damage in return. But he does fall, and actually Ancient Apparition also going to be lifted back in for the easy kill.
They actually have, they completely rotated the entire tri lane. And oh my god, I think this is a mistake from Waga to TP back with his PA. Now he's, I mean, there's a lot of HP, but after these couple of waves, I don't know if he's actually going to be able to sit up here, because the entire reason why they brought the PA to the top lane was to dodge the aggro tri lane to begin with.
Well, he does TP up here for the time being. As you're pointing out, though, Omni Knights already ran to the bottom lane, so they're essentially committing to this tri lane top now here on Kinguin's side, and Phantom Assassin pretty much has to accept that because, like you're talking about, just use the TP. So that would be on cooldown if she wants to get out of here for the time being. So again, her farm overall is still pretty good, even despite that death. And they're actually going to pop a Chilling Touch right here. Go for Rubik. They find Rubik by himself. Katsor, he's probably going to be picked things off. Yes, the wand's not going to be enough to keep him alive, or I guess a stick at that point. Exotic Gear will just keep on running. Well, I guess if you're going to find a pick off like that, it could work out pretty well for LOTV. Tiny?
Yeah, the support can never get gone on. Never, ever, ever.
He saw that before. Toss away the Tusk only to get snowballed back in, and now they're going to collapse onto him for the kill. So Exotic Gear will finish the job, and like you're saying, I mean, well, it's a different story when they're all together like that. For the Kinguin side.
Yeah, the LOTV actually, in my opinion, is a slightly stronger lane, but without the Chilling Touch, there's almost no way they have any damage whatsoever. So Chilling Touch being down there, it's a really easy go from the Kinguin side, and I think once they see the tiniest bottom, they're just going to be like, yeah, let's kill top again. He's being so greedy.
Wrapping around up here, Tusk and the Rubik. They're going in on a Phantom Assassin, Ancient Apparition nearby. He's only going to be a target basically with a Phantom Strike, though, at that point. Cold Feet not going to really do much, and neither will Chilling Touch, considering they're not doing damage. Although, as I say that, they're going to turn kill Katsor. And they will make it a 1-for-1 at least, but of course favoring Kinguin's side with Phantom Assassin going down even before the Rubik in that case. But 6-2 lead now for Kinguin, and quietly the middle lane just continues to go at it with one another, and Lina has gained a slight advantage now, 33-11 compared to the 24-11 Gyro. So it's definitely going to be a lot on Lina's hands to make some plays here early on, it seems like. As I say that, he's gone on the shard block, beautiful block into the homing missile, and the Rocket Barrage will finish the job. Well, that's going to hurt some things too.
Middle tower is under
Oh yeah,
attack.
this is the difference between the two lineups. It's the roaming 4 position. Tiny, not really the best roamer. He does have some potential to flank around and toss. He did try to go for it, but the mid ward from Kinguin actually spotting him out that really deterred it, and then the Gyro got a couple rotations, I think 3 by this point already. And the entire purpose of that ward on the mid hill for the Gyro was, well, it was to scout the Tusk as well, but it gives the Gyro the ability to land his peripheral flak cannons while he's CSing on the Lina, getting that extra bit of harass. It's extremely important for him, because that matchup, again, is not very easy.
Phantom Assassin top lane. Again, we've seen this before. He's trying to get the Phantom Strike off, but the lockdown is so much. He eventually will, though, and it's going to be enough to get away for the time being. And now Rubik's actually in trouble. Lina here. Great toss forward. Lina now Laguna Blade in the face of Exotic Deer. It's not enough for the initial kill, but the eventual kill, different story. Actually, great coordination from LOTV. Definitely on point, and that's a 3-kill streak stopper on top of that. Unfortunately, on the way of Ancient Apparition, but still, they get it. And they made up some good ground right there, actually. So Lina, definitely active early on.
Yeah, that was really good coordination. Like you said, they left the kill of the Rubik for the PA, so the PA just finished Rubik off, and got a little bit extra down. He really
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He just keeps dying over and over again. This is not the lane. The thing is, The problem is, if he went bottom at this point, that
Radiant's
Omni
top
Knight, I mean,
tower
even
is
even
under
a
attack.
long time ago, after the laning phase, the Omni would have had a pretty decent lane against the PA. PA has to blink in melee on top of the Omni Knight. The Purification just does so much damage in return. They don't have enough to really bring him down.
Yeah. That's true. It's you almost kind of forget about this bottom lane happening. But speaking of that, Beastmaster rotates to the middle lane. Lina goes down first. The Primal Roar is not nearly in time. And Storm's Stormer will go down on the Lina right there. So the rotation from Beastmaster, again, a little bit too late. And just going to try to pick up some farm now in that middle lane. Exotic Deer. He's being run down top lane. The Cold Feet will eventually proc. And they're going to be able to finish the job, I'm guessing. Yep, Cube runs in, throws up the toss, and will secure the kill up there. So yeah, again, this trial lane, it's what you're really talking about. I mean, maybe on paper favoring the Radiant side, and it's showing. I mean, when it comes to fighting, they definitely do some good damage. And, you know, especially once PA could hit level 6 with the coup de grace, that's, we're going to see those crits even starting to come out here.
It has a lot to do with the fact that Rubik is such a weak laning support. Combined with the Tuskar, like I said, they only have control. They really need damage from another source, but Vengeful, not really that big of a damage source, just the magic missile burst and a couple of right clicks.
Rubik, I've seen this before. He kind of walks on up, and Cube says hello, and then Waga goes in with the dagger and the Phantom Strike. I mean, it's rinse and repeat right now. Gatzor, that's already his 4th death, I want to say. Yeah, he has 0-4. He has 7 assists, but 4 deaths, not too good.
Any hero like a Bane or a Witch Doctor in these types of situations would be able to dominate the lane much harder. It's a little greedy to go for the Rubik, and honestly, the hero itself, even if I'm a great Rubik player, if I played in pubs like 50-50 win rate, just really depends on how much mileage you get out of the rest of your course. He's more of a setup, more of like a counter pick to really good abilities. Like, yeah, there will be great abilities to steal in this game, but you sacrifice a bit of your laning stage, and right now it's this PA is getting a little bit too much for the pick itself, and it's actually the top 3 net worth, so it's not really what they want to accomplish in the lane stage. In the mid lane, they're just picking on mid lane with this gyrocopter. Gyrocopter tusk rotations are so easy to convert into kills.
Like I was going to say, though, you mentioned PA, Phantom Assassins having a great start and up on the net worth, but to be fair, Lina and especially Beastmaster, not as good. I mean, Lina had that earlier rotation, and yes, that was nice, and it's not like she's far behind, but not the most ideal start either, so it's going to be, you know, a lot on Waga's shoulders as they're setting it up to be because of this lane, and that kind of leads now to the obvious question of how does he build this battle, or how does he build this PA? Are we going to see the Battle Fury, you think, or will it be like straight Deso or something like that?
I would imagine a straight Deso, just so they can keep up the pressure. I don't think they want to like have PA out of these fights, like you said, kind of putting it on his shoulders. I think that he's a really big damage source for their lineup, and a lot of their momentum will come from him being involved in the fights early on, just throwing out the dagger. So if he does go Battle Fury, I would be surprised. It's a little late to start heading for it. He only has 900 gold so far. It would take another couple minutes, and I think by that point, Team Kinguin's lineup is so fast that if they took a lot of fights, it would be really hard for LTV to fight without Waga.
Well, Waga having to keep his distance right now, so obviously it's pretty dark up there, and supporting cast currently in the jungle. Omni, we really, again, haven't talked too much about him. He hasn't been really involved at all as Patos, and ever since that rotation, he's jumped up. I mean, he's the top net worth, 5,000 net worth on him for now, as he's going to pick up some bounty runes right here even, and do even more. And right now he has the right click up, or the Q up even of the Yules at this point. Is that the best decision considering the start that he's having, you think, or you like it?
I personally would have liked to see the pipe come out a lot sooner. It's just really strong against AA, Lina, Tiny. Like, it makes sure that he can't really get bursted down, and also is more supportive of his team. And, you know, kind of on the flip side, Coop, on the Tiny, he finishes up the Blink Dagger that's really, really fast for a 4 position. So now they're going to have the Blink Dagger Tiny combination, and because of all the trading in top lane, the AA actually got quite a few levels, so level 6 coming out. There's a lot to be worried about now with the Blink and the AA and Roar eventually. Just lots of different sources to set up for this blast.
He is leveling up that toss, by the way, but yeah, having that Blink at level 6, that is pretty crazy, as you say, especially being technically a support in the position 4 at this point. And maybe bottom lane is where we're going to see some action, because Luna's already in a flank. Omni Knight, Gyrocopter are here.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
LOTV,
attack.
do they actually defend this? Ancient Apparition sending in the Ice Blast. It's going to connect. We would think that's some kind of Q maybe, but no, I guess Lena's already poured it out. Never mind. They're not going to go for it, so. I'm curious about that. It seemed like that they were setting up as if they could have had a big play right there, even with the Ice Blast hitting, but
Radiant's bottom tower is
choosing
under
not to.
attack.
I think they just, it's a really risky play. It's a lot better to usually just mirror the opponent. They kind of see this rotation coming and then just do the exact same thing on the opposite side of the map. This is something that EG does a lot. Even if they don't choose to defend, they'll throw down the Ice Blast just to slow it down and harass and kind of put them on their toes so that they're not sure if a fight will come or not, and then you can kind of get the advantage trading.
Well, this is a fight breaking out. Katsura is going to be the first target. He's really in no man's land right now. He is going to be collapsed on, but now the turn. As reinforcements are here for Kinguin. Walrus Punch on Tiny will finish the job. Primal Roar comes out, but PA is already picked off. And Nisha just standing your ground with the flat cannon doing plenty of damage. Rock Barrage in the face of Beastmaster. Somehow the TP actually goes off and he gets out of there just fine. But a 2-for-1 turn in favor of Kinguin. Yeah, that's that. Unfortunately, you know, the Tiny saw them porting in all to the shrine. It seemed like there's a little bit of confusion on exactly how they wanted to play that out, and sure they got the Rubik, but obviously it backfired.
Radiant structures are fortified.
It's just this PA pick. Usually PA will shine versus heroes that are more single target based and more heavy on the physical damage, but running into a gyro, you can see how fast she shredded. Just simply the rocket barrage and the call down, that's enough to kill down Waga until he actually picks up BKB, which he doesn't want to pick up until he picks up at least one damage item.
Oh, that's a hit on Tusk. Yeah, well placed for the Ice Blast there, so they find a kill in the middle lane, and like you said, kind of mirroring to an extent. They push middle tier 1, and sure they lose the top tier 1, but kind of making the best of the situation. And you know, to LOTV's credits, this is really, I think the biggest we've seen Kinguin's lead is 2,000 at the most, if that. So yeah, not even according to the net worth chart. So this overall continues to be a very even game, and we're talking about Lena maybe struggling a little bit earlier, and not so much. He's got a Yule's now finished, working on a Shadow Blade next. What's the key for LOTV? Is it really just getting that PA Pharma, I guess, is the obvious answer. In fact, he is going Battle Fury, by the way. So a little more information to work with now. Oh, bottom?
First, okay, bottom.
Is he going to die to that? No, he's fine.
I think so. There's a couple things I like here. I really love the Gyros build with the Academ Scepter. I honestly think this is a superior build. It's something that I really like to do. I've seen a lot of Chinese teams going for this. Not so much adapted in the Western scene, but the raw HP, the ability to farm with the side gunner, the DPS output on towers, it feels really good. And it also works with your orb effect. So if you have a Mask of Death, for example, you'll be healing off that side gunner, Maelstrom, Daedalus. It will all proc off of it. So it's very interesting and allows for unique item builds. Also, I like that the Beastmaster went for this Helma Dominator build and has a queued up Shadow Blade, because with the Helma Dominator, he's able to pick up this troll creep permanently instead of just like that random creep, and he can also counterplay Repel, and you know, I think it's a really nice utility in this game.
Yeah. So definitely some key items coming out right there. Cube trying to make the dodges out. He didn't have a TP though, and unfortunately unable to do so. So despite blinking away initially, they catch up to him. Good job by Kinguin right there, running him down. So, hey, he talked about the I didn't even notice he was going that, in fact, until you mentioned that. And sure enough, he just purchases the last component. So needs to fly out that Staff of Wizardry. And, you know, funny that you mentioned that, because I've happened to cast a lot of European Dota recently within these last couple of months. And I feel like I actually have seen it a fair amount in the European region as well. I agree with you maybe in North America and even other regions, but it has been really stepping up a lot in the European region even. So it's and you know, for the longest time when we were starting to see it, a lot of people were kind of against it, like what is he doing? But it became the norm, and you make some good points as to why it actually is a good item here.
Middle tower is under attack.
Bottom. Tusk. Ice Blast. That's a Laguna Blade. So they commit a lot to get that kill. Swap did happen from Exotic Deer, but now he's going to be run down as Waga's chasing after him. Chilling Touch is applied. Exotic Deer's by himself currently. He'll fall. Not the best choice to swap in right there. It's almost like he was trying to save his teammates st get a kill on Lena, but no one else is really coming in. Nisha, they'll cut off Cube off to the side, I guess. Well, they do find Tiny, but So far, continuing to be pretty good for the Radiant side. As I say that, though, Pato sitting on top of Lena. The proper war locking out Gyrocopter. PA comes back in, and Gyro's going to fall here, looks like. Even just getting that axe, he goes down 500 plus gold, going the way best kill. And LOTV takes the net worth lead after that fight.
LOTV, there's something to be appreciated about how fast they're playing. Like, they don't really back off when they lose fights. They just come right back and just make a play again. Like, Waga is actually doing a lot of work. We noted that his gold was so poor when he was going for the Battle Fury, but he actually finishes up really quickly after a couple of different fights. So, you know, personally, I don't think that Battle Fury is always the best build, but in this situation, I don't know. Actually, well, you know, I take that back. I think Battle Fury is always the best build if you can get it in theory, because it offers PA a lot of what she needs with the regen, with the farming speed. I've never seen PAs go greedy and actually come out ahead, but in this situation, they've just been constantly making plays around him, and with the Battle Fury, it's actually something to be scared about. It's
interesting design for the hero, though, right? Because the idea that I feel like you could argue both ways, where having the cleave effect, especially when you get those big crits, it can be insanely useful. It's heavy RNG, sure, but that's kind of how the hero works. On the other side of it, you could go that Deso build, and that makes those... And she is known for being a single target assassinator hero, basically. That makes those crits that much more powerful to kill that said target ASAP. So, again, I can see it both ways, but having the Battle Fury actually in a pretty decent time, and I think we could both agree, considering how the game is going, it feels like it's pretty good overall. Now, man, as I'm talking about this, Patos is in trouble, actually. Yeah, he's going to go down to the Shatter Effect right there. Tiny is not going to make it out, but you know, it's worth that kill, it feels like. Although Ancient Apparition was also picked off, I guess. But yeah, they killed the farmed Omni Knight there.
That is totally worth it. Coop was like level 7 on his Tiny. Right before that last fight happened, he actually just blinked in and died straight up to the Gyro and the Vengeful. He was level 7, I saw at that moment. But by killing the Omni, I think he gained almost like 2.5 levels. So for a Tiny, that's very significant. Just leveling up the Avalanche, adding more threat to his combo. Super, super worth it.
Yeah. So Gyro got that axe, and we saw that big fight break out, which they came out on the losing on a Kinguin side. It doesn't have anything since then because of that. So farming the Yasha, though, going to try to go the S and Y at this point. And then possibly even an MKB queued up right now. But, of course, things can change in the meantime. Go back to this Omni Knight, though. Again, insisting on picking up the Yules. Does have drums on top of that. Going to be going Blink. This is... It feels like he's really kind of playing the I'm going to be a savior style, but... For me, for being the most farmed hero in the game for the longest time, let alone his own team, I don't know, it seems like it's almost a waste, right? Where, dare I say, could he have gone even the Radiance or something like a Solar Crest even? I don't know, this just feels like underwhelming to me.
Got it.
Yeah, I feel like he's trying to play more of as a core hero. You can see that he's the top 1 network and top lane probably go down Rubik. Yes. But oh, look at Stormtrooper setup with Ice Blast. Really nice stun out of Lothars. That's super easy pick off. Really nice coordination. That's not so easy to do. I like that they were setting that up. I think the ward helped a lot, just seeing the rotation of the Omni, knowing how he's going to position, and the incoming rotation from the Tiny as well. That's actually crazy that they can burst down a hero with 1900 HP. I think this Lena is super worth that first pick. She's doing so much for the team. She is pretty much bursting down every single target on Kinguin, including like the Gyrocopter himself, just super scared of Laguna Blade. Vengeful's very afraid of Laguna Blade. And then even the Omni, which I thought they were going to struggle to kill, with the Ice Blast on top, seems like they definitely have enough damage to bring him down. And by not going for the pipe, he's kind of opened himself up for that opportunity. I feel like if he had it, there was no way they ever kill him in that situation.
Yeah, see, so yeah, you were talking about the pipe earlier. We got Tiny bottom lane, by the way. He goes down, but again, kind of have to reiterate that it's a position for Tiny, so it's not necessarily the biggest loss here for LOTV.
He has the Shadow Blade. What?
Does he already have the Shadow Blade?
He actually has a Shadow Blade.
Hey, yeah, my goodness. He's getting really good farm, despite dying now back times, it feels like. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's doing his job. He's got a Blink Shadow Blade. He's really just maximum farm considering what he's doing again. But so yeah, Omni Knight, he does have the Radiance now queued up, so that's where I was almost even getting at earlier on. It's like maybe that style of the Radiance build potentially in hindsight could have made more sense. But the action just continues right here, by the way. Lina, she's been hunting now. She doesn't have the most life, so this is a little curious. Tiny jumps in and once again gets evaporated. The strength pop. That's going to be an Angel's use on Lina. Phantom Assassin trying to finish the job on Tusk, but no, out comes a Guardian Angel, and Waga went a little bit too deep for that one. He's dead for 50 seconds. I think LOTV has overstepped their boundaries big time. They're going to get the turn kill on Vengeful Spirit. Maybe Gyrocopter as well. The Repel keeping him alive. In comes the Purification on top of that, and Nisha will stay alive when it's all said and done. Beastmaster throwing out the Wild Axes, not enough snipe damage, and he too is going to be followed up on for the eventual kill. I mean, it's going to happen. There you go.
Oh, this makes me so sad because they're the underdogs in the situation. They were looking so good. I was just about to compliment them, but they run in thinking that, okay, we have the shrine, we have somewhat of advantage, but they have zero vision whatsoever. The fight was really dubious from the start. Like you mentioned, the Lina I think she had like 40% HP, not really looking ready to fight. I mean, in my opinion, they were the driver's seat. Waga working on that BKB, that's going to be a huge bonus for his teamfight potential. He's no longer going to be able to get bursted down from the gyrocopter so easily like he did in that last fight. I felt like they were so in control of this game.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they are still having the net worth lead of 2,000 right now, but overall, Kinguin's got to feel pretty good about what happened right there. Taking that fight to their advantage as Ancient Apparition top lane. He's having some fun with Omni Knight, trying to get into chase a little too much, but Patos not having any of it. He'll blink away and continue his farm, but you see Lina hunting in once again. Laguna Blade misses the LSA, so yeah, that was sloppy right there, unfortunately. They're unable to capitalize, and Patos will just kind of walk it off. So he's good to go. How's this Vengeful been doing? We have a lot of Shadow Blades this game, geez. Vengeful also has his own Shadow Blade with the Helm of the Dominator, and is also going the BKB build here. Exotic Deer.
Yeah, that's the right build. Just kind of Vengeful kind of becomes his support hero. It's a lot more about the gyro than anything. She's more than willing to give up her life if it can save the gyro, providing that damage. The utility of the Wave of Terror with the flat cannon and the swap is just really, really nice. She just wants to swap herself in, be useful, find a nice target, maybe Lina. I think Lina would be extremely useful to burst down quickly, and the BKB will help her accomplish that. She might even be able to get out of those situations.
Popular items this game as we continue on are again the Shadow Blade. You have 3 Shadow Blades on the Radiant side. Beastmaster, Tiny, and Lina. And then you have that one on Vengeful like I was talking about. But BKBs are going to be the next on the list for either side as well, of course. And speaking of that, Phantom Assassin, 2,500 gold saved up. Top lane, Patos jumps in, dusts, but by himself, there's no way he's getting that kill. So that'll be the end of that. Trying to make some kind of play. So it feels like for the first time this game, we actually have a good 3-4 minute window where no kills are happening. Granted, they're still trying a little bit, but it's dying down. And who is this favoring more, you think? More of the static farm game at this point?
I think this favors LOTV quite a bit because the PA got past that awkward, adolescent phase, and now she's working towards maturity. Once she builds that BKB, that's when she hits just massive power spike, and she has way more items to go. She's going to be able to burst down the gyro. I don't think it's that close in the head-to-head matchup where the Venge is going to fall off a lot, but the gyro himself, not really going to be able to match the DPS output of the PA, and the PA is always going to be able to jump through with all those buffs to Blink Strike through Repel, Stifling Dagger through Repel. The gyro is not going to be safe, and then with the added threat of the Lina on top with the additional burst, it just seems like the gyro's going to have a lot on his shoulders here because he's pretty much their sole carry in this game.
Skill, yeah, he's going to be swapped. He did not expect that. He actually had the pop of his Shadow Blade, though. Wait, what happened right there?
The Tusk blink, not knowing that the swap is going to come out, so a little bit of miscoordination there.
Wow.
If the Tusk was ready to just click Snowball, it would have instantly casted the moment he got swapped, and then that would have been an easy pickoff.
Man, that is surprising, because I saw them there for a while. They were setting that up. I don't know how you don't communicate that from the beginning, but clearly you're just not on the same page. So they miss what ideally would have been a free kill onto the Beastmaster, and now they just have to full-on retreat and fall back, and Tiny's not even letting that happen freely. He's chasing now. He is actually going to end up TPing away as the Snowball almost connected. But he manages to get it off just in time. But again, more space continuing to be created as the BKB is now being delivered to Waga. Here on Phantom Assassin, he's also almost level 20. So I'm guessing that lifesteal is going to kick in. So not only is he getting that BKB, but the lifesteal on top of that means that survivability is just going to start getting really good for the Phantom Assassin. Lena, meanwhile, is picked off down here. So Kinguin does find an eventual kill on a pretty significant hero, actually. 550 gold going the way of Tusk from that kill at that point. So nice find there. To the Lena. Smoke play.
This PA has a lot of room to grow. She definitely doesn't need to feel pressured to take any fights whatsoever. However, they might be forced back into base. One important thing for LTV to execute in the team fights is to shut down this Omni Knight. It doesn't need to be a kill, but just throw out a roar, throw out a net, something, anything that negates the ability. Kind of getting picked off in the top lane. While I say this, they have dust. They have 1 sentry. Okay, it goes down. But the Beastmaster is going to need to roar, or the Lena is going to need to stun. Whatever they can do to stop this Omni Knight from casting Guardian Angel. That's the one way that PA does literally nothing in the fight.
Speaking of PA, he's split pushing the top tier 3, and actually is going to get Kinguin to fall back because of that. So, yeah, they saw their tower all of a sudden and were like, we got to actually defend. We cannot continue to push, and does enough to get them to fall back despite losing Tiny. Actually gets more tier 3 tower damage out, so Waka will go back to that farm. Speaking of Omni Knight, killing him is the idea. Now, again, with his build, he is making that difficult. The blink, so he's going to keep his distance, the heals to help himself as well. And now he's going the Axe.
Yeah, so that's the... See, the thing is, the win condition for LTV in the fights is this PA goes ham, but Guardian Angel is the one way that they cannot deal with... Like, they can't... There's no way for them right now to purge off the GA on the targets they want, and even so, it's just going to be so difficult for him. So while they have GA, the PA is going to be completely useless. And with this Axe pick, I really like it, so he doesn't need to even be in a vulnerable position at all.
Oh, he put himself in a vulnerable position right there, running in the face of Beastmaster, and Shadowblade not going to save him at that point as the dust came out, so good find there. From Kinguin, it seems like LOTV, though, pretty insistent on continuing to push in this top lane and keeping Kinguin occupied as well up here. But you also look at the vision of Kinguin down at the top side. They got 2 very aggressive wards over here at the top side of the map. Really shows you how they want to play this game and find those picks, with that Vengeful, with the Tusk. But LOTV is, we've seen that now with the Beastmaster maybe a couple of times, but outside of that, not necessarily giving it to them. Now as I say that, Katsar gets picked off actually for the Ice Blast. And Lena's going to walk it out. I'm guessing Lena did the upfront damage.
Yeah.
It
was kind of like a walk. It was like the cool thing where the actor walks away from the fire. Like the A blast company. He's like, "Yep, you're dead."
Yeah.
It's like, my job's done. That was pretty good. I think that Kinguin would have wanted to go high ground. I think they smelled blood in the water. But this PA constantly pushing out top. I think they need to put a ward up there and just get her out of this lane so that they can actually make moves on the enemy side of the map. Like you said, all the wards being so aggressive. They definitely want to play in that side, but because Lena on the bottom lane, PA in the top lane, they feel like they have to deal with these rats, and it's really stopping them. But I think this Gyro, he overcame a really serious deficit with the Monkey King bar, and this is all due to the fact that LOTV fed away that crucial Aegis. The next Roshan is going to be really, really, really important. So whichever team actually takes that fight is going to be in a massive advantage either way.
Couple things to talk about more on this PA. I'm just missing kill. They just happen so fast, it seems like. Lena finds a kill on Rubik in the middle lane yet again. I've seen that once or twice before. Omni Knight, Tiny, is going to spot him, but there's a lot of teammates support nearby. In fact, Omni Knight jumps in, and PA's in a bad spot now. BKB is not going to save her. You just see that physical damage shred the PA, especially with that MKB, as you just had mentioned. And Tiny goes down as well. LOTV kind of throwing away some of their chances here, it seems like. Stormer, can he TP out? No, oh my god, he can. The Lincolns. Lincoln's proc, and even despite that, the damage almost stopped him as he got low. But yeah, this physical damage is intense, man. With the Gyro and the Vengeful together.
Oh yeah, seriously. Seriously. Gem on the Tusk. I liked how he played that. He TP'd on the shrine, just sat on the high ground. Lina thought that she was just gonna get away for free with the Shadow Blade, but managed to just barely get out. This could have been a total disaster, and it kind of already is though, because the PA going down in that fight, it just seemed like such an awkward engagement. They didn't really know what was exactly going on. Now they lose the Aegis. This was LOTV's best chance was this Aegis, and now it's stripped away from them. So this Gyro's looking really scary on his way to the butterfly as well.
Yeah.
Wagga going for the nullifier, so that does help a little bit, but with the GA on top from the Aghanim Scepter, I feel like the moment that the Gyro gets jumped on, he's just gonna pop it, and then the PA should just go down at that point.
Yeah, that's actually something I was going to bring up. So it sounds like you like the idea of it, but it's still not an ultimate answer for Phantom Assassin as far as the nullifier pickup. But his level 20 talent, I'm actually kind of curious about that. You know, I was kind of mentioning, just almost figuring it was going to be the lifesteal, but he actually goes the multi-shot stifling dagger instead.
Yeah.
So
I think this is largely due to the way that the game state is. If he was able to just blink it and right-click, he would prefer the lifesteal. It just helps you sustain in the fights and man fight. But I think in this kind of game, it's similar to, you know, when Phantom Lancers get Aghanim Scepter, they kind of just sit back and just spam out their Spirit Lance. It's kind of similar where the Stifling Dagger, yeah, if it hits like a support or hits a secondary target and crits, he just wants to stay out of the fight, because I don't think he can truly commit to a fight as long as GA's in there. So unless they kill the Omni Knight, there's no way for him to actually just go in and man fight. He needs to kind of dance around the back.
God, this Gyrocopter now, though, it's insane. I mean, MKB was one thing, but now that full butterfly finished in hand, 1,100 gold saved up on top of that. Ooh, big engagement here. If they can find the Gyro, big crits. No, not just yet. The Stifling Dagger's flying out. In comes the Repel. Nisha running back in the face of PA. PA decides to go after Omni Knight, but a quick GA comes out of response, and now Phantom Assassin has to respect that, and she cannot. The flat cannons are just flying throughout, taking out anybody even remotely close. Double kill coming out for Nisha. He wants another, damn it. He wants Cube, who is going to go use that Shadow Blade and run out of here for now, so he should be fine on the Tiny. But, oh, they also got Beastmaster. The supports are like, guys, we got some more food for you. Gyrocopter's going to find it. And down goes BN.
The hesitation from the Lina, just pump faking her Light Strike array. I mean, it looks like that's a setup, but actually it would never even work in a million years, because of the Aghanim's GA. The moment that the Gyro gets caught out of position, it wouldn't exactly go down the same exact way that it actually did. They just didn't have to pop GA right away. So there was actually no hope for LTV in that situation.
Well, they might get him down here, but again, he has an Aegis, so worst case, he is even going to be saved. The Glimmer Cape even coming out. The Promeror is used to try to maybe stay alive. They get the kill on Beastmaster as Poncho stays alive just enough. No, he will go down to the toss, actually. No buyback for him, but Exotic here pops his beak and he's running after Ancient Apparition. Speaking of no buybacks, really none on the Radiant side other than Tiny, who uses it right there. Phantom Assassin will be up in 3 seconds, but it's just going to be her and the Tiny for the next 50 or so at this point, and that probably means your base is going to just melt away.
Radiant's bottom tower
as they might kill Nisha, but again, no, the snowball.
Whoa. We can toss. We can toss.
Oh, we got tossed.
Oh no.
Yeah, if they get Gyrocopter there, that could have been interesting. Because they could have killed him a second time, possibly.
Wagga wasn't really on the same page, so he wouldn't have been deep enough for it to kill twice, but that was an opportunity of somewhat. Just I love this Aghanim's build. It feels so good when you're just able to free shot the Raxes. The DPS is effectively doubled. Swap on the Tiny. He does have a gem.
Oh, the roar stolen by Rubik right there. Exotic Deer having to try to man up. No, Phantom Assassin will finish the job.
This is an opportunity.
Onto him, but is it though?
Oh no.
Is it though?
Yes, Wagga needed to man fight that Gyro no matter what in that situation. He couldn't turn back.
Yeah.
Take down the Aegis. There's no Omni Knight. The supports are coming online. That would at least get the Aegis in that situation, potentially the Rubik during the respawn time. But yeah, it just looks like a little bit too little, too late. One interesting thing that I noticed in the fight was when the Vengeful Aura, when the teammates die around her, they revive as kind of these spirits. The Omni Knight died, and he was applying Degen Aura. onto the Tiny as he was dying. So it's,
yeah.
you get that like 46% slow when Omni dies. It's like it's actually so good.
That's a good point. Yeah, heroes that die. So even like Rubik's Aura would still last, and you mentioned Omni Knight with the D-Gen. That's a very interesting synergy there. Oh, out comes the GA. Guardian Angel with that Ags effect, despite it being so far away. Just Boston still works Nisha, though. He was the snowball for most of that, to be fair, so it was kind of an interesting idea, but they're going to take out Tiny and Beastmaster nonetheless. Lena go over the burst on Pachos. Unfortunately, he has this thing called an Aeon Disc that really prevents that burst damage. No buybacks across the board for LOTV, and they are just going to call it there. So Kinguin will hang on and take game number 1. Got to say, LOTV, a hell of an effort, and it was fun seeing them do well. But at the same, I'm kind of with you, it's almost like frustrating because it's like they're the underdogs here, and they actually were in a great spot to take the first game against Kinguin, and they just made some key mistakes.
I think so. I feel like if not for that mistake on the bottom lane, they would have been in total control of the mid game when the PA was going to hit her power spike, and then they would have been able to convert that into possibly the second Roshan, and I think they were in a good position. It's kind of refreshing to see that, you know, this isn't going to be a stomp. They did have some moves in them. The group especially got a lot of farms, like on this 4 position. That was crazy. So hopefully, you know, I think they can actually put up a pretty good fight and potentially even win game 2.
Yeah, it'll be a fun fight nonetheless to see how it does play out. But how about the Nisha too? 23-1-8. That's quite the stat line right there for that gyrocopter. 23 hero kills. Not too shabby, especially only a 38-minute game. You usually think that's like an hour-plus game, maybe some long drawn-out game, but no, he was running people over, and he goes back to the whole Ags first item and worked out pretty well in the end. All right, we got a break though coming up. We got game number 1 of the books, Kinguin taking it. So again, this is just a 2-game series, being the round-robin format. So we'll see if Kinguin can secure both points here, or if LOTV will at least be able to split. Again, they're essentially playing for pride and bit of an upset dog here, but right now they're down 1-0, going for the split. I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Fluff. This is the Dota 2 Super Major coming at you. The qualifiers, that is, for the European region, not the actual main event. We're not there yet. Just the qualifiers, but trying to find out which team will move on to the main event. Stay tuned. We got game number 2 coming up next.
Dire team back. Radiant team back. Dire team back. Radiant team back. Dire team back. Radiant
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The China Dota 2 Super Major European Qualifiers. We have game number 2 now. Kinguin versus LOTV. Kinguin currently up 1-0. I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Fluff once again. And again, with this game number 1, you got an underdog team, no doubt, on LeftOne TV coming into this matchup, but they're showing that they can compete. And like you said, maybe we should have been expecting that a little bit more, considering their record even coming into this. Overall, pretty solid. And
5 seconds
had hope, but a couple of unfortunate decisions. And Kinguin's a team that's definitely going to capitalize on those. So Kinguin does take the first game. We'll see how game number 2 looks right now. But once again, an interesting opening from LeftOne TV, more so the Sand King first pick, but already a Beastmaster now coming out on their side. And we did see Esco play last game, so maybe a comforting thing, I guess.
Team pick.
Yeah, doesn't. Oh, I like that Lina again. That Lina actually played so well in the last game, so I had no reason to not pick it up again. The Rubik Sand King is a much stronger duo, but I still do think that Rubik suffers some really similar issues. I do think potentially one reason why they did pick up the Rubik is just because it's one of the heroes that people look to as a counter against Omni. Just so many good abilities to steal, and they did eventually pick it up in their lineup. Sometimes teams will pick up heroes beforehand that will kind of counter them out. Like, really classic example would be like picking up the AA if you want to pick up an Alchemist, or a Rubik if you want to later pick up an Enigma. It just kind of sets up for your own strategy. So there's definitely other reasons why they would pick it, but you know, most teams would generally just pick up a really strong laner like the AA or Witch Doctor, secure the lane. Witch Doctor would have been really amazing versus Beastmaster, but it doesn't really make that much sense to talk about it now. Where did you see those picks? The Beastmaster just seems like a really solid hero overall. The one thing that I do worry about with prioritizing Beastmaster is just that he's not the best in all lane matchups. Generally, the heroes that you want to pick up early on, they have a lot fewer bad matchups in lane, but Beastmaster, I can already think of a handful of different heroes. Like the Omni would have beat him, the Tidehunter, Batrider. You know, there's plenty of options for Kinguin, but either way, I do like that lane to pick overall, so should work out.
Yeah, and obviously as we saw last game, it ended up being, of course, that mid Lina. Now the potential for a support Lina is you got to think there's being such early of a pick is at least there, but again, the core.
Oh no. I'm not a fan of the Clockwork. When you play 4-position Clockwork into Rubik, he just picks you up out of the cogs. Boom, you're done.
Good point.
When you play it versus Sand King, okay, I just burrow strike out, doesn't matter. Like, it's you pick Clockwork when heroes can't get out. Oh, ooh, it's an AA, so that means that's an offlane Sand King. Sand King also can beat Beastmaster in 1v1. So Beastmaster not really the best hero usually, but yeah, I don't like seeing Clockwork just
10
because
seconds
it
remaining.
feels so bad when not only you can't kill the supports, but also
5
you can't kill the
seconds
cores
remaining.
because now that there is a Clockwork, it will deter a couple of different heroes. They'll probably be picking up heroes that have a little bit more mobility or naturally build up force staffs, and even the Sand King at one point will build a force staff, so it'll safeguard the rest of your team versus the Clockwork. I think it's just not the best choice these days.
Yeah, and when you see a Clockwork, you think, okay, well, maybe if anything, they want that Shadow Fiend synergy, from the beginning, which did even get nerfed more recently. But then it's, well, they already have Alina, so probably not. So it's yeah, no, I'm with you definitely. The Rubik Sand King, two very good heroes. Rubik especially, right? The fact that he had that easy lift is like, no, thank you, Clockwork. We're gonna go ahead and put you over here. So that battery assault doesn't really do anything. So curious on this fourth pick now, but. It has to be their 5 support unless they plan around Lina support.
Yeah, this should definitely be the 5 position. They have the last pick overall. It would be a complete waste to pick up your carry in this position.
Radiant team pick.
Witch Doctor, just standard stable hero. It will be really annoying at Sand King because Sand King will always have to second guess himself if he wants to burrow strike in or not. Gonna have to deal with the Maledict. It's overall good hero. The Gyrocopter again. They're really not fearing this matchup. I mean, the thing is, the difference between this game and the last game was that the Tusk's roaming potential for the Gyro was... The synergies are just so high in that situation, whereas with Rubik, you do have the lift. It works out pretty well, but it's nowhere near the same level of threat, because you don't have that pathing issue with the shard blocks and the additional snowball. Like, Tusk at level 2 can be one of the strongest heroes in the entire game. Probably... of the entire Dota 2 roster of heroes, whereas Rubik, you only have Lift at level 1 and then Fadebolt level 2, so the rotations aren't really going to look exactly the same as they did before, and I do think that Lina has a bit of an advantage in that lane just because she has all those... She has the damage, she has the nuke, she has the range, everything pretty much in her favor.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, with that performance last time for Team Kinguin, it's understandable. All right, well, it worked last game, and Nisha talked about that impressive stat line that he had. Feeling very confident. Again, if that even ends up in his hands, it could possibly be in the safe lane Gyrocopter as well, and a different mid-hero. But they do ban Phantom Lancer, thinking that that's going to be the case. And why not? They go Vengeful again. This is a Brood. Okay, without snapped pick, it's got to be some kind of cheesy hero, and yeah, we go Drow instead. Interesting final pick.
It's interesting to say the least. It's gonna help the Boars at some point, but really it's gonna help the Witch Doctor and Lina. I'm not really sure if it's the best Drow Ranger pick overall because, yeah, Drow can put DPS to Gyro down pretty fast. He is worried about the incoming damage, but again with the Venge support, I think that. Well, she's not a support hero, but I mean, just with her swap and everything, she's going to be able to bail him out of bad positions. She's a natural 4-staff builder. We did see the Hood the other day, so she's going to be able to deal with the Lina. And I think, more importantly, you can use those aggressive swaps on the Drow every single time, and there's
5 seconds
actually nothing that she can do about that positioning. So I'm not too keen on the idea of a Drow Ranger. It doesn't even really help your offlaner, which is what a lot of Drow Ranger strategies revolve around. Just like, you have an offlane Fury and a Puck, and then they just become so much more lethal in the laning stage, but it's just a Beastmaster, so not really sure.
Yeah, and it's Lina. Like, it's not... I mean, yeah, Lina's very good right click. Like, don't get me wrong, but she does take a bit of time for that to eventually be... I guess with the aura will be good earlier on too. So I don't know. It feels odd though. It feels very forced. It feels like they almost went in this draft and thinking like, I want to play Drow, and we're just gonna final pick it. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it works out for them. The Gust is a fun ability as well. Now, again, they don't really have the greatest frontliner here on Kinguin's side, so there's not that guy that's going to be in your face to maybe gust away effectively either. So, but still, Silence is an effective tool. And I know her Precision Aura was buffed in a fairly recent patch. It was increased from, it got increased at the later level. So the level 1's the same, but level 2 and 3 and 4 actually did get buffed a little bit, percentage-wise.
Huh.
So there's that. More damage.
That's kind of interesting. But it actually has 6% at rank 4. That's the biggest jump.
Yeah. Not bad.
I do remember they did nerf it at the earlier level, so I guess they had to compensate it or in some way.
Yeah. They're trying to find a smoke gank early on, and they're going to end up running uphill and be exposed. So unless Kinguin's not paying attention, which they are, they are going to be fine. So no first blood here. And into the laning phase we go now. Yeah, let's call it like it is, because it was kind of interesting. I was actually looking back at the group stages once again, and in between the game here, and to make sure my math was correct. But so looking back at it, technically this series doesn't really mean anything in the big scheme of things, because no matter what was to happen here, even if Kinguin lost 0-2, they actually still had a chance to be the winning team as long as they defeated TFT 2-0 in that series. So this is like a glorified scrim, I guess you could say, in a lot of ways. So, you know, again, take that how you will. Know that it wasn't as maybe serious as I thought it was going into it. And I'm sure Kinguin, of course, is very aware of that as well when it came to their strategy and picking. Not to say that they weren't playing their A game by any means in that first game, but just I think it's worth pointing out as we're watching this game. All right, Beastmaster top lane. That's very likely a kill.
Yep.
Is it? Yeah, it should
so
be.
So tanky.
He is, actually.
Oh,
the salve will keep him alive. And the Vengeful Spirit, weak attack range, also keeps him alive.
And again, it's another one of those aggro setups.
Denied.
Waga wisely choosing to dodge the lane, go into the off lane. He would almost certainly have died in that situation. So in this situation, it's much better. Rubik TP's bottom. It's a little bit of a harass. There's no caustic, so the chase potential isn't really there. Top lane, this is going to be a lot better of a lane for the Beastmaster than last game.
Yeah, Cube's rotating in. Trying to make a play on Cathar off to the side, though. Witch Doctor's trying to live against Patos.
Oh my god, his TP is so long. Where did he TP to?
I don't know, but he ends up canceling it because it was so long. He's like, wait a second, I'm going to die to auto attacks in the meantime. I might as well get the hell out of here. Esco will go down to the top lane, though, so eventually they do him in. I mean, we saw what happened earlier, so you can kind of just figure the same thing. Caught that at the last second. Patos, Burl strikes away. There's exactly what you're talking about. It's clockwork. He puts the cogs up, and Sand King just has an easy getaway there.
Just, it doesn't feel good to play clockwork in the situations. I'm not sure if he asked for it, but
Denied.
you know, if they ever look back at this VOD, I would highly recommend that you don't pick it in the situation.
Yeah. Now, we do see the Precision Aura doing work. I mean, Lena's dominating middle lane right now. She is 12-4 versus 3-0 Gyrocopter. And that's a mix of maybe the matchup, but also, again, that Precision Aura is helping slightly, too.
Yeah, Gyrocopter is one of those heroes with really low base damage. I've seen plenty of streamers, like actual pro players in the safe lane, miss tons of CS because it's just so hard. And throw on a Drower on top, higher base damage on the Lina, nukes. It's a lot more ridiculous. And we did point out in the draft that the rotations coming in are not really going to be as effective for the Gyro or even there at all. Mm-hmm. So the Lina should really kind of showcase how this matchup really will go in a true 1v1.
Homing missile put up. Lina gonna just stand her ground. She doesn't really care too much as long as no rotations are coming in. There's no way Gyrocopter's getting that solo kill, of course, so understands that as the early bottle. Assume we're gonna see a similar build from her at this in this game earlier on Yule's to start things off. Perhaps that Yule's Shadowblade, I think, is the direction we saw Lina last game. So Gyrocopter, is that Axe? Is that basically a core you think where, like, really in any case it's going to be built if you like to build it as actually bottom lane, though? They're going to lose Drow and kind of caught that late, unfortunately. But the Clockwork also in trouble. He manages to want to stay alive. Patos taking some return damage. Not enough, though. Witch Doctor can only do so much. That Stout Shield mitigating plenty of damage. So they take out Drow, though, successfully.
I'm gonna answer your question, but this is really interesting. The Witch Doctor, level 2 Voodoo Restoration Maledict, no cask. That's a first for me. That was actually, I mean, probably the situation forced it. That's kind of really interesting that he would even attempt that, but I think it did save the Clockwork in the end, so maybe potentially worth it. Not really that big of a deal. Like, he can eventually get the cask. People don't even like max it out a lot of times because Maledict is so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think your question was the Aghanims on the Gyrocopter.
Yeah.
Yeah, personally, I do think it is a really, really, really good item overall. That's just my personal opinion, though. I would get it every game. A mid lane, but oh my god.
Nisha is like, all right, we're doing this. It's a man fight. Pops a fairy fire and then the rocket barrage and just runs in her face. Yeah, I think that is a bit of outplayed coming out.
But in general, I think, well, not in general, but specific to this matchup with the Lina, I think it's important that he builds up the HP because, again, he is super burstable. If he goes to traditional build, the Laguna Blade will tear him to shreds.
That's skill. He's being torn to shreds up here at the top lane. Only 9-1. That's his second death already. We saw near death even earlier on. Vengeful Spirit, though, 28-14, dominating that top lane. Clockwork goes down. Get at the bottom lane. You see Rubik, guessing a big part of that, using that lift, and that's actually his first death, but still, just the Sand King and the Rubik are able to make that kill happen. As you see at the time being, Ancient Apparition currently at the top lane, of course, to assist the Beastmaster. So usually, again, one of the biggest keys with the Drow is that, well, at least we're gonna do well / win 2, if not all 3 lanes. I mean, CS-wise, they are, so I guess I can't really say they're not. I mean, Lina and Drow is actually farming very well, but the overall, it feels like that Kinguin has good momentum right now.
Right. Honestly, I think that they would have even more if they didn't go for this Rubik. It's because most traditional safe lane heroes would completely dominate the situation.
Rubik, speaking of him, lifting up and running away. The gust hitting the Sand King nearby, but that's it. And middle lane, while that's happening, that's a call down. Ancient Apparition rotating and kill on Alina. So now it's back-to-back deaths on her. And Gyrocopter able to gain a lot of ground now as a result of what's going on in that middle.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Look at the Beastmaster.
Dire's structures
I'm looking at the nerf chart. He's below the Clockwork even.
Ooh.
And the main difference here is that Waga's team, or LTV, is going for this aggro tri-lane setup, whereas AA was sitting top with Exotic Deer the entire time, so they were just constantly preying on the Beastmaster, not much he could do. And bottom lane is holding up for Kinguin. They're just using 2 heroes to repel 3, so all in all, they are going to get the advantage in all the lanes just because of the supports.
Pato's hiding for now, as those frost arrows being used by Waga. As the early ring Vacula, and dare we guess what Waga builds here? As far as items go, I mean, go a couple of different directions, I guess.
Have not seen a Drow in a long time, but she is the main source of damage. Probably will need a Dragon Lance at some point.
That's what I was thinking, as there is a big exchange happening down here. A potential exchange, even Clockwork goes down. Drow, he's stunned on, and he too is going to fall. Patos and Maledict, it's only level, oh, it is level 2 now, but it's not going to be enough, actually. Even the Infused Raindrop rocking, and yeah, they will pick off the Witch Doctor in the end. So 3 kills happening, double kill included for Elisa. And we have a 9-0 start. I mean, it's only 2,000 net worth lead, so it's not snowballing out of control necessarily, but it's 9-0 hero kills. That's an extreme lead at 8 minutes for Kinguin. So
yeah, and this AA is gonna another AA where they get level 6 super fast. This AA is more than halfway, just maybe a quarter left. Once they get that level 6 up, it's so impressively lethal. I think they'll be able to kill anyone with the Venge setups, with the Gyro throwing them the homing missile. It's extremely scary.
Speaking of that, top lane, they going for it?
Nice.
Of course they are. God, Drow just did not even exist. Just 722 life, I guess. She was on the agility power Trez. Not that that would have mattered really, but that rocket barrage, level 4, so a lot of damage is the quick math right there, and shows it off. So she has to walk back.
Oh, mid lane, the A actually just goes for a solo kill. Is he going to get this? Coop runs back in. I think he might have been alright if he kept walking forward, but don't really expect an A to be level 6 that quickly. I think what he did was he was leeching the experience as soon as he hit level 6, went for a play. Kind of hard to anticipate that. You never expect an A to be level 6 this early in the game. But I was going to say that this is kind of a taste of what's to come for Waga. The Venge will not hesitate to swap the drone every single fight from now until forever. So, you know, the more levels she gets on Venge, the farther range. It's going to be so difficult for Joe to do anything in these fights, even if she does pick up a BKB. So I think at some point she might need to pick up a Shadow Blade just so that she can be a little more evasive, not get gone on first off, or she will die every single time.
Dire's bottom tower.
And now that was a bit of a mistake right there. I'm pretty sure LOTV showed that they were smoking nearby, but it's like on cue, man. You're just talking about the whole point of the swapping aggressively, and sure enough, they use it on a drow. Now the smoke does end up in the middle lane, so see it or not, I mean, it's going to catch Nisha completely off guard, and 4 heroes collapsing together. That's finally the first kill coming out for LOTV. And they're going to try to transition nicely into the tier 1 tower, but it's not enough reinforcements, so don't think that is happening. But still a good kill. That's got to feel decent if you're them. And like I said, I mean, don't let the hero kill fool you. This is not a completely out of control game. It's definitely still hope, at least for LOTV, only down 2,000 net worth. But it's going to come down to, you know, can they get that 1 or 2 pickoffs? And what are their objectives going to be like? Because, again, that's the other thing about the job. They're winning the early laning phase, but then also pushing towers, right, as soon as possible in the game.
Well, in this kind of game, the Lina just becomes the one position. I think swap on the Beastmaster top lane, another 3 kills. Oh my god, this is just
so fast.
The problem is that with the AA, it discourages grouping quite a bit just because of the blast coming in, huge AoE effect. But if they continue to split up and try to lane every single, like, you know, top, bottom, mid, the swaps will just come through nonstop. Someone will constantly be dying on cooldown. They need to smoke and kind of group up and look for an opportunity to push a tower afterwards. Maybe get a fight beforehand.
Speaking of that swapping cooldown, it's only 45 seconds. He has 5 more seconds before it's even back up. Now the mana may be an issue. They do pick off Waga elsewhere as out comes Aurora and the Maldic. Vengeful Spirit's going to die right here, actually. Selena got to feel pretty good about that, but will she survive that? Aura's chasing her down in the final auto attack. We'll do her in. That's got to be frustrating. The Clockwork Cogs will block a gyro. He beats his way out of it, though, and is trying to run. The cask, unfortunately, stunned him in place, however, and he'll go down. Katzord at least trying to kill somebody with him. And yes, it is going to be enough to take out Beastmaster, but he too falls. And you got to think that overall net worth is definitely going the way of the Dire said, uh-oh. Witch Doctor, you're dead. See ya. Yeah, he's going to, I might as well last hit. So he explodes right there. But yeah, I mean, the net worth of about 1,000 net worth in favor of LOTV there, at least.
I mean, that's what they need to do. Just now that they have level 6 on the Clockwork, continue to group up, continue to look for those pickoffs, try to find the initiation before Kinguin picks you off. This is really the only way that they're going to be able to farm safely. Just eliminate the threats on the map by taking fights.
Oh, there is that Clockwork. Hookshotting in. That's an ambitious hookshot, though. Going pretty deep. They weren't really ready to support the quickest, and they actually lose the tower. Unable to deny it despite all them being here. That catapult finishes the job. Well played by Vengeful.
Yeah. Maybe... Not sure if LOTV was necessarily doing their homework. Obviously, they did ban out a lot of exotic tiers. Precious heroes, the Lone Druid, the Furion, the Brood Mother, but Kinguin really well known for their Vengeful Spirit play, especially with the first game how it went. Giving it to exotic deer, it just seems somewhat of like, I don't know if they're kind of challenging them to pick it, but they completely ran the exact same 2 cores, and it seems like they're just so comfortable with this pick.
They are, and like I was saying earlier too, we saw running in a completely separate event at least a couple matches where they picked it up and supported it both of those games. So clearly the diversity is there for this team as well, as it is for the hero. You know, can be your main support, can also be your position 1. On top of that, Sand King finds Lina. The Epicenter gets off, and Lina, despite her LSA landing, doesn't matter. Witch Doctor was poking in to try to help initially, and that proves to be his demise. as he ends up falling there. So a couple more pickoffs in favor of Kinguin, and looking at their biggest lead so far. This gyrocopter, he's got drums now finished, and I almost keep expecting to almost see an Ags-like finish, but it is only 14 minutes in, so we're still pretty early on in this game. But I'm guessing he's going to go the same build once again.
Well, last game he just completely skipped over the base the drums and just go for Ags. I think if you're gonna go for Ags, usually that's what you do because there's just so much commitment to the early game items, the phase boots, Aquila, magic stick. You want to just have that next item. So he might skip over this game. I don't think it's that big of a deal. They're so far ahead, but I really did like the stat bonuses from the Aghanim's.
Yeah, it was fun to see. Drow getting a little bit of information as far as what he's interested in. Again, it feels like he's had the same items for a bit as a couple of deaths. He's 0-5-0, but trying to build a Dragonlance. Eventual Hurricane Pike, but Lena, she can't even finish her heals, damn it. She gets killed again here in the middle lane. Seems to be the theme right now in favor of Kinguin. So first game, I mean, LOTV had a great hope throughout, and they were looking very good. As mistakes on their part that ultimately cost them the game, it felt like. Game 2, it's just been all Kinguin. They're not looking back. Rubik, he may die right here, but he's going to set up kills for Nisha. That call down, and Cube's in his pace as clockwork. The Maldic is up, actually. Nisha may end up going down, but here comes that Ice Blast. They're going to finish off Doral. And Nisha will so close with the Shrine. Tried to pop it and survive, but the Maldic Tick finishes the job. At least Vengeful gets immediate revenge for his teammate right there. So the net worth does continue to lead after that and even grow slightly more for Kinguin. And maybe going to get better as middle lane Beastmaster. He's dead too. Oh. Yeah,
I mean, that opportunity top lane was afforded to them just because of the really good play from Cube. What he did was when they were killing the Rubik, he didn't show initially. He was kind of hanging around behind the tier 1 waiting for any TPs. Once the gyro did TP in, he went for the hook shot, and that was enough to set up for the gyro kill. Otherwise, if he showed earlier, the gyro would have played a lot differently and potentially would have just lived. I'm pretty sure he would have just lived anyway, but nice little plays from Cube, even though they're so far behind.
Yeah, again, it's definitely making the best of the situation, getting some practice in, if anything, like we were talking about. I mean, let's be honest, this is really just a pride game here at this point, really, for both of these teams. More so for LOTV to show that they can compete with the big dogs here in Europe, but Kinguin not having any of it, especially in game number 2, though. They find Witch Doctor. The free kill. Going to transition back into Roshan, maybe. I mean, they're trying to figure out what to do. And they wanted to kill Lena, but she manages to have that invis and run the hell on out of there. So she'll be fine. Is LOTV going to try to... I guess that they're at a point of they got to just go risky. They do get the kill on Elise. That's a 9-kill streak stopper for Lena. It's 900 gold going her way. Okay, that's often you see a 5 support going down and that much bounty.
900 gold.
900, yeah. Already.
Wow.
Well, she jumps up to 2nd in net worth. Almost has a Shadow Blade now. It's actually kind of significant. I mean, if she can snowball off of this herself, that would be something, but
yeah,
it's not going to be easy.
She is the carrier for the team. A lot of times when you pick Drow Ranger, it's the Drow Ranger is usually supporting another range hero, and in this situation, it's the Lena. So the Drow really just needs to build up the stats, give some damage to her teammates, and hopefully the Lena can scale ahead. But yeah, that is significant. She wasn't even close for him.
Oh boy. Just when you have some hope, it all goes away. Big Doctor in the middle. Was that a Maldic? Yeah, I was going to say Rubik has some level 4 Maldic himself. I was a little confused there. That's Rubik for you, though. Not an ability you see Rubik stealing often. Maldic takes it. And, yeah, very similar to the Vengeful. Go figure we have both the heroes in this game where it's like they're the quote-unquote position 1, but they play more as a utility support for the team than anything. Usually.
Exactly.
In this case, Exotic Deer is kind of carrying. I'm not going to lie. 6, 1, and 6, swapping people in, killing them quickly. We're going to find a free kill on Witch Doctor. All right, well, fun side discussion while this game's continuing on. There's been 2 heroes that have not been played in any minor or major this season. left.
Dire's structures
First
are
off, do
fortified.
you know which two they would be?
Dire's middle tower is under
Are they in the
attack.
bull? Are they?
They are,
like,
well,
it's not
okay.
techies, right?
One of them is techies, yes.
Okay, all right.
There is another one, though, that obviously is in the pool that has not been played.
Just only one hero?
Only one. There's fighting going on, yeah. We're watching it.
Okay. Are you talking about this current season, like when DPC was announced?
Yeah, DPC, yeah.
Radiant's
Is it
top tower
Necrolite?
is falling.
No, we saw Necro the other day. Were you?
Okay.
Oh, wait,
I don't think
that
I was
was
there.
for something else, actually, yeah. But no, it's not Necro.
Wait, someone actually picked Necrolite?
Yeah, it was. It
Dire's
didn't work
middle
too well.
tower has fallen.
Want me to tell you?
Yeah, tell me.
Spectre.
Now that you're dead.
Oh, right.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Yeah,
little
attack.
surprising
it's
to
just
me.
like such an awkward spot. There's
Yeah.
no way that Spectre can actually get to where she needs to be in in the late game. Just so slow. Some people go Helmet Dominator. That's kind of a nice little workaround. Or some people try to go for the urn. I know Envy was experimenting with it. I saw on a stream before the Spirit Vessel did get nerfed. He was rushing Spirit Vessel, but I think that build's not viable anymore. So yeah. I think if you pick Spectre, you can pretty much, it's safe to assume that you probably lost.
The reason people have literally not picked him up yet, I guess. Yeah, it's a sad day, unfortunately. Spectre fans out there all over the world. The one hero not to be seen. All right, Lena. She is just going to sit there.
Extinguished.
Full of chappy. Doesn't work too well. Witch Doctor also dead.
Yep.
Kind of in that spot of the game where Kinguin's just having fun with it. Who knows? Maybe Yellow TV is as well. They're just enjoying the moment.
Hey, what was the name of Spectre and Han again? Was it something Wraith? Sandwraith?
Sandwraith, yeah. Right.
Yeah, Spectre and Han was really badass. I really liked the way that it played out.
His biggest difference in Han though was that so in Dota, and I think it still works this way, where his whenever he's solo with somebody when no one else is nearby, or whatever, his passive it's pure damage, right? In Dota,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Han it actually was initially magic damage, I believe, and so it wasn't nearly as strong, so it kind of was weaker. But the one biggest difference I think is they did give an Ags effect to Sandwraith eventually.
Oh, what?
And his Ags actually was kind of interesting where, so he'd pop his ultimate, all his illusions would spawn, and whenever he went to one of those illusions, it would actually fear every enemy around that illusion for like 2 seconds. It'd be like a savage
terrorize?
roar, yeah.
Oh, that's actually insane.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good actually. it was actually kind of a clever idea, and I mean it's one of those awkward items on a hero like a Spectre, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it potentially could have worked. I think we saw it a couple times, like really late game, as a tool.
Support Spectre.
Yeah. So maybe that's what he needs. Spectre needs some kind of Ags effect to be viable.
I don't know. It doesn't really. Yeah, it's an awkward item for sure.
Oh,
Can't really justify it.
another big difference too is actually this took me a while to get used to with Dota, where global effects, so like his ultimate, like Zeus's ultimate, Lincoln's in Han actually would absorb the global effects. So you could actually
weird.
pick up a Lincoln's and it would prevent Sandwraith from creating an illusion on you, or Spectre, or whatever. Same thing with Zeus ulti, so very interesting. Anyways, big fight play here. You see Clockwork trying to respond, and it's not going to work. GG's are called. Kinguin about this game. Kinguin's going to be victorious. And they take the series 2-0. So this sets up the match that probably most did expect as far as the two teams left standing here in the Dota 2 Super Major for the European region. We got the Final Tribe versus Team Kinguin, and that is said to take place tomorrow. The winner of that series will be going to the Super Major at the end of the year. And actually, I believe that's the one we're going to be casting tomorrow as well. So that'll be a fun one. That, with so much on the line, that's a pretty big deal.
If either team, how does it work? If Kinguin has to win twice, or how about Final Tribe? Is it just once? Or
So it's still a best of two. So if it ends up to be a tie, so that's what you're getting. If it ends up to be a 1-1, then I don't know. I'm guessing they'll just make them play one more game. Like, I'm guessing that literally. So,
Right.
in a sense, it'll just be a best of 3. Like, that would make the most sense to me, right? They might as well just say it's a best of 3 at that point. So,
Right.
we'll go with that. But yeah, I honestly don't know 100%. But that should be again a good series. So much on the line. 2 great teams. We've been watching a lot. We've been watching those teams a bit lately with all these qualifiers happening. So.
I'm excited for that one. There's a lot on the line, so the tensions are going to be high.
Yeah. Should be a good one. All right. LOTV, though, fun to watch them and Mr. Waga and everything, but their journey here in these qualifiers coming to an end. So we'll have to go back to the pub games and enjoy those for what they are. So we are going to be wrapping up, though, here on the Dota 2 Super Major. Fluff, any last words, any shout-outs, anything else?
No, just Wagamama, I really wanted to see you win that game 1. I hope that you look back at that, learn from it as a team, and hopefully that we see you more in tournaments and you can overcome some of these well-known European teams.
Yep. All right. So, sorry, I got a little bit distracted right there. All right. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you next time here for the Super Major. Again, tomorrow's game for the European region, we got Kinguin versus TFT. The winner of that series will advance on to the Super Major. $1.5 million, man. That's a lot of money. And all those points. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you next time.
You got all of my soul.
Okay, so change of plans, guys. For those that are tuning into this stream, apparently we are going to be jumping into another series. It's not going to be Europe. It's going to be North America. Give me a sec to confirm. Getting in the lobby now. So yeah, I actually just got a message about this where apparently they needed a caster for this other series. VGJ Storm versus Team Rejects is apparently the matchup, and I was asked if I would jump into that one. So just so happens that I am able to do so. So we are going to be doing that. So I'll get the graphic set up here, the appropriate graphic and everything. And we will be casting some North America Dota now coming at you. So, once again, guys, sit tight. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back. We got VGJ Storm versus Team Rejects, which from what I could tell is Ike's Mike, Ryu, Fluff, and stuff. Wait, what? Fluff is playing? Oh, that's funny, actually. Well, so it's not going to be Fluff as my co-caster. Anyways, we'll be back. I'm just trying to get everything figured out. We'll be back with some NA coverage, guys. Stay tuned.
can be the stars, you can be the stars for me. Show me that you love me like the sky so I can see. Tell me something I don't know, take me where I never go. I wanna know what it'd be like to disappear for a night. You could be the stars, you could be the stars for me. Show me that you love me like the sky so I can see. You can be the stars, you can be the stars for me. Show me that you love me like the sky so I can see. Waste your nights in bars, but save the last drink for me. Untouchable and shining fire, you scatter like the galaxies. You call me up when it gets late again, like I'm supposed to know where you've been. Oh, but it doesn't work that way, no matter what you say. Aren't you until the end? You can be the stars, you can be the stars for me. Show me that you love me like the stars so I can see. You can be the stars, you can be the stars for me. Oh, yeah. Show me that you love me like the stars so I can see. You can be the stars for me. You can be the stars for me. I'm trying not to track down the things I've lost. I'm trying not
team back.
And I'm falling down again.
Radiant team back.
I'm trying not to fall back into the crowd. Trying to be silent instead of loud. It's hard to be quiet.
Dire team
It's
back.
all about reaching out to get that, but I'm falling to the ground. And I'm falling
Radiant
to the
team
ground.
back.
And I don't want the fucking feeling when I'm down. And I'm falling, and I'm falling.
Dire team back. Radiant team back.
And I'm falling down again. And I'm falling
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So, as mentioned, here we go. We're jumping into NA, the region that I am from. The superior
seconds
region,
remaining.
as some would say. No. We got the China Dota 2 Super Major from the NA region qualifying now. These qualifiers just kicking off today.
Radiant
So, obviously,
team
it's still pretty much up in the air as far as who's ultimately going to be qualifying. But, of course, a very big deal. That's Super Major, everything on the line. So, we got VGJ Storm taking on Team Rejects here in this now new best of two. Again, these two-game series, it's a round-robin format, so no matter what, 2 games, we're looking forward to seeing how this one
10
shapes
seconds
up.
remaining.
I'm Breaky CPK, and I'm going to be joined by Bowie here. How's it
5
going, man? It's been a
seconds
while.
remaining.
Yeah, I'm doing great, dude. So I'm in a Dota, the Super Major. So a lot of these teams, they really want to spot this. This is the last qualifier, right? So really want to be able to attend that tournament.
Yeah, this is the last event of the season outside of course, TI. TI8, that is. So.
Yeah.
$1.5 million prize pool. I think it's like 2250 points on the line and everything. So, yeah, it's a really big deal. It's a pretty big deal to say the least. And
Dire
NA,
team
let's be honest, especially without Evil Geniuses being in these qualifiers, it really is up in the air. I mean, Optic Gaming is probably your favorite team, but I
Radiant
wouldn't be
team
surprised
back.
if some of these other teams ultimately end up winning it. So I'm very interested to see how it shapes up here. But Bowie, we got a draft to talk about. We have the Bane first pick into a Tusk OD. Oh no, it was actually the Tusk first pick into a Bane Underlord, and now we have
10
the OD
seconds
coming
remaining.
out. So what do you think about our draft so far here?
I
5
mean,
seconds remaining.
OD, pretty good counter to the Underlord. Usually you don't first face the hero, but I guess they
Dire
really value the
team
hero,
back.
and on top of that, you do have this hero that you counter. It's pretty tough though, depending on the matchup. That like usually OD never loses a lane matchup, but at the same time, he kind of struggles. He
Radiant
needs
team
those
back.
couple those first items, the Hurricane Pike, a Blink Dagger, sometimes even a BKB. So let's see if HJ Storm can actually get some good heroes versus the OD. It's usually a little scary, I would say, to get the OD first.
Yeah.
But I do like the Tusk. It gives a lot of kill potential to the OD, especially if
10
he goes.
seconds
Usually,
remaining.
you're seeing a lot of ODs just keeping Astral completely, getting a lot of
5
points in Astral.
seconds remaining.
So if you get a good mid lane block, you can get a lot of kills in the mid lane. He could even be
Dire
the safe lane
team
versus
back.
the Underlord if they really want to pressure that hero.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say, pretty good against a hero like Underlord, so wouldn't really put that out of the question, actually, with Team Rejects here and with how they decide to maybe lane it. But for now, they're going to ban out Alina, and then
Radiant team
looks like
pick.
Visage, actually, taken away as well. So maybe some matchups that OD wouldn't be the most comfortable against. But third pick for VGJ Storm. Still looking at position 4, most likely. Of course, popular ones such as that Tusk already taken, Sand King's banned out, so Night Stalker is one that's seen a lot more play
10
lately, and
seconds
actually has
remaining.
kind of jumped up once again on top of the position
5
4 list, I
seconds
feel
remaining.
like. So I wonder if he can make an appearance here, but is there anything that stands out to you?
Dire team.
Yeah, I would like the Night Stalker really. Pretty strong. Oh, the Nyx Assassin is also a great one just because OD gets a lot of intelligence, so those mana burns really hurt. But the silence for the Night Stalker is pretty potent versus OD. It's one of the biggest counters to the hero until he has a BKB.
So the third pick now for Team Rejects, and still needing a position
10
5,
seconds
so I would
remaining.
assume that probably going to see that direction. And of course,
5
Witch Doctor is
seconds
just the one that
remaining.
always comes to mind, right? If he's not banned and not picked yet, Witch Doctor's just kind of a safe pick.
Yeah, I like the Witch Doctor, even though Nyx Assassin pretty good against that hero. You can cancel the Death Ward pretty easily. Maybe the Disruptor would be a good idea to. It's a Fiend's Grip counter. You can also pressure the Underlord, a lot of magic damage
Radiant team.
in the early game. Yeah, but they get the Witch Doctor. Pretty solid too.
That's one of those as a caster, whenever you call it, it's fun to predict heroes, but predicting a Witch Doctor is just like, yeah, okay, here we go again. Whatever, not a big deal. It's just another Witch Doctor.
Yeah, the Maledict is pretty strong versus the Underlord. Where's him every single team fight.
Yeah. So
5
BGJ
seconds
Storm now
remaining.
looking at their cores here. Who's Resolution going to play? That's what I'm excited for. I've seen a Resolution in NA. That still feels weird to me.
Yeah. They had a pretty rough series versus Optic, but he likes those big cores, that you just keep farming while your team 4-mans. So maybe we're gonna see something like Terrorblade is banned. Time Huges, of course. I guess Gyrocopter is still one option for. I would like to see a hero that just gets an early BKB, just so that you can actually fight the OD and he doesn't grow too much. Pugna is also a hero that we needed. It was actually VHJ Storm trying to use Pugna versus Optics OD, and it worked pretty well even though they lost. I'm not sure if it's a Rezo hero though.
Yeah, when I think Rezo, I think a hero that he needs to be able to ultimately carry the game with, like take over, right? And a hero like Pugna isn't necessary in a lot of ways. Gyrocopter is one that potentially could. Not saying that it's going to be in his hands, but the Gyro here, you like it?
Yeah, I do.
10 seconds
There's
remaining.
a lot of possibilities on the Gyro. You can build a lot of items, and early BKB is one of
5
those.
seconds remaining.
So I expect that Gyro to eventually pick up the item. And now it's X-Mike stack time to get your next core here. So you have a Nyx Assassin, Underlord, Gyro. What do you pick?
What do you pick? You figure offlane right now first.
Radiant team back.
Yeah, the Batrider would be good, but there's a Nyx Assassin. So I like the Jugger. In the early game, Gyro pretty much just deals magic damage, and Blade Fury really deals well with that. Nyx Assassin can't really use the Vendetta to gank the Jugger if he really wants to get that kill. Also,
10
pretty decent
seconds
versus the Underlord.
remaining.
You can Omni Slash him. Deals a lot of damage that doesn't
5
get affected
seconds
by the aura.
remaining.
And it's also more regen, right? The Witch Doctor is going to eventually have the heal from his second skill. There's also the healing ward. So even though they lack sustain to after a fight, go get towers if they need to.
That they do. And you know, another hero that I know
Dire
IX
team
Mike
back.
maybe likes, especially band coming out, but Abaddon, thinking of more sustain, he's another one that could potentially be on that list.
Yeah, and he offers push too. I would like the Abba really.
How do you pronounce
Usually you
it?
see some of the Dominator.
I say Abaddon. How do you
10
pronounce
seconds
Abaddon?
remaining.
I
5
feel
seconds
like
remaining.
I saw a Reddit thread talking about it. I usually say Abaddon, but I'm not
Okay.
sure if it's right.
Well, I think to be fair, I think he says Abaddon, so that's why people like to say that's how you pronounce. But I think either way is fine. But I always find it curious if others pronounce it differently or not. I'm just so it's so natural for me to say Abaddon. But
Okay.
anyways, their final ban.
Yeah, I like the Doom ban here. I would like to see a Vision hero for the side of the Dire. They don't really have anything besides the Sigil. But Batrider is not really an option versus Nyx Assassin, Gyro and Bane. I feel like it's pretty tough. So maybe the Beastmaster would be an option.
Okay, yeah. So for the pick, I'm still thinking of the ban
Dire
too. Okay,
team
so
pick.
Death Prophet coming out for them. So now Beastmaster, yeah, that's definitely an option. I mentioned the Abaddon already. Is there something else like, no, that wouldn't work. But with a Juggernaut, that synergy would be awkward. Don't want to do that.
Yeah, there's not a lot of follow-up.
There's always,
even though OD actually works pretty well.
5 seconds.
there's always a
remaining.
Magnus. I mean, you think of a buffer for Juggernaut. He's obviously great for that and brings that RP.
It's just that the Nyx Assassin offers the scouting from the Nyx. It can be pretty hard for the Magnus to actually land good RPs. But yeah, I mean, the Mag would be okay. I feel like the Abaddon is probably the best option, even though he doesn't offer any vision. There's a lot of burst and early magic damage on VJ Storm, so that shield's going to be pretty value.
Well, they're going to use all their time here to think of this final pick.
Yeah.
Radiant team pick.
Behold the horn of Magnus.
Jesus, you're on fire, man.
The Magnus.
Okay.
The Juggernaut
Do they play a lot of
synergy. No, a Juggernaut synergy. It comes down to that, and a lot of the other kind of like the Doom ban, the Sand King ban, the Omni Knight ban. Those are maybe a bit stronger. So
5 seconds
yeah,
remaining.
that's I guess was the ultimate logic, but.
Yeah, it's very hard to deal with late game Jugger and go hard with Empower. He can just destroy the Gyrocopter. So yeah, I guess they're betting a little bit on more mid game and the greatest laner, but they can try to dual lane this and see what happens. I'm curious to see if the OD is going mid anyway. So if they're gonna try to pair the OD versus Underlord and lane Jugger mid, and then he just farms with Empower later on.
Well, VGJ Storm going down to the wire.
You may now select your heroes.
Medusa, the Resolution Medusa. That's a hero that could definitely take over the game. And by that late game, so kind of fitting. Okay, go. The lineups are set for these two teams, and I mean, is there a draft that you personally like better than the other?
I guess I'll have to go with VTJ Storm. I mean, they're kind of the favorites for the match anyways, but I feel like Magnus Juggernaut can scale super well, but against a proper team, it can get pretty hard to get that Blink Dagger. I feel like the Magnus is going on, especially with that Bane just trading hits with him constantly. Regardless, though, we have to see. Resolution Medusa, so pretty strong late game hero versus the Empower Jugger.
Yeah, so going the Medusa here, and you'd figure that's going to be in the mid matchup against Master Kenshiro, playing the OD on the other side.
My gratitude is yours.
What do you think of that match? Do they pick up Medusa, you think, because they like it in the matchup against OD, or is it just a hero that they wanted for great late game presence?
I feel like they just like the hero because OD is actually pretty. I wouldn't say in lane, just because in lane Medusa can actually take all your mana. But as levels progresses, you just take so much intelligence. The hammer, right, reduces the mana by a huge margin.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. That is actually more interesting now. They
picked the Medusa into the OD, which is, I guess, they really trust Resolution with this hero. He can try to go BKB, you don't see it very often, but sometimes you're kind of forced to. So maybe he'll go for maybe 3rd or 4th item BKB.
Yeah. Definitely got to think just a comfortable hero for him. So setting up for that bounty rune up top currently. As far as how the lanes are shaping up. Mike's up here on the Witch Doctor. You have Sammy Boy heading to the top already. Oh, but some kind of an aggressive lane could be coming out. Underlord, maybe the next assassin. MSS up here for the time being. Going to pick up that bounty rune. And the other one. And we'll make it a 2 for 2 as far as the bounty rune. It's going to be at the top lane early on in this game. It's Underlord up. Here comes a pull. Can't stop the pull.
That's the new pack as an offlaner.
Bane's a little better though to deal with it. You see, he was actually no, he didn't even get Nightmare. Never mind. Did he just miss? Magnus was over there, and actually didn't even get the pull. It looks like. Not sure what that was about.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Oh, nice shard block.
App allows him to do that.
Yeah, 4 armor on the support. Pretty hard for the to straight hits. But I like that they're dual laning here with Real Boros. I feel like if he was solo, he would just be right-clicked by SVG the entire time and allow the Magnus to get some experience.
So Nyx Assassin, he was at top at the very beginning. Now he's actually in the middle lane. Level 1 mana burn. What do you what's your take with that? No impale from the beginning. Just get that mana burn right off the bat.
I feel like they really want to shut down because all DOD does is try to use Arcane Orb and Astral to keep his mana levels up. So if you get to put him onto 0 mana, he won't be able to use any skills, and then he's very weak in lane. Like his base damage is awful, his attack range is awful. So I guess they're trying to do
Cheeky shenanigans coming out. Snake King on Underlord, he's once again doing a bit of a pull on that creep wave, being annoying with the Firestorm up there. So that's kind of annoying. You got OD at the top, you got Nyx Assassin camping middle lane.
Yeah, and I feel like they're doing pretty well. Since Nyx Assassin has level 1 mana drain, he can't really stop the pull whatsoever. So Snake King already has 7 less hits in comparison to. Oh, actually Magnus is doing pretty well as well. He's 8 and 2, but slightly behind in experience. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the lanes are even than I thought, even though the Nyx Assassin has level 1 mana drain.
So as you mentioned, now Magnus is doing all right here at the bottom lane. As I say that, they're wrapping around now. He doesn't actually have. Oh yeah, he does. He does have Skewer. Doesn't have his actually in power yet, but may have to Skewer right here. The shards blocking the other direction. That was a little awkward. Does cut off the enemies, but Rai's force. I'm guessing that was the plan. It just looked a little funky initially. Now he's going to be nightmared up though. Again, he still has Skewer. He's just being very patient with it. And he's going back into it. He's doing everything he can not to use Skewer here at this time. And he will be
maybe
fine.
they're trying to bait BTJ to get a Skewer back later.
Yeah.
But I mean, he still has the. Usually when you use KR, they end up getting it.
Now went to that at the last second. That's just your typical Witch Doctor Juggernaut spinning on top of him, and level 1 Maledict even. It's still enough. So good find there.
Yeah, and now he's completely out of mana, so he's pretty much a creep.
That's not good. Let's go back to this. Arms okay. It's 9 and 2. It's actually not that great, but eventually, you know, you'll get some items. Now, what are those items going to be? You think? Does he rush the blink, or does he go a different, more? Does he go like an Echo Saber? You know, we've seen before, more right-click enhancement.
Yeah, I guess it depends. It really depends on what they want to do. If they feel like they have to ramp up the pace of the game, the Medusa is just getting too much, we can see an early blink, or maybe he can try to. Oh.
Is it enough damage though? The Brain Sap keeps him alive barely. SVG trying to juke in the trees. One more auto attack should do him in, and Magnus will get that final auto attack. Tusk will tank the missile right there and be fine. But yeah, that shard block, pretty good. That's why we see Tusk first picked a lot.
Yeah, and those stairs and stuff, you can always use the. I feel like we're gonna see an Echo Saber just because, you know, we're against the Medusa, so trying to be a melee right clicker is already gonna probably try to go for maybe an Axe. I saw a lot of Magnus is experimenting with the item a little bit now, just because it slows by quite a bit and it clears waves super well, so you farm without actually having to commit into the creep waves. But maybe we're just gonna see like a Blink Dagger into a Shadow Blade, just so that he can scout. They don't have a lot of vision heroes, as we said, so maybe the Shadow Blade after the Blink could be a good idea.
Yeah. Really working on that initiation sounds like the key for Magnus, but early on going to get the Arcane Boots, of course. Allow him to use his abilities more freely. Speaking of boots upgrades, Juggernaut does pick up the Phase Boots as he's continuing. He's free farm at the top lane, obviously, but topping the charts is actually the Gyrocopter right now. Sure enough, here in this bottom lane he's actually 34 and 16. A lot of nice he's working with. Ix Mike, the Impale misses. That was close in the middle lane, but just a little bit off the mark. Not the easiest stun to land from the Nyx Assassin. Just a miss there.
Rest already levels. Greedy build when you're playing Medusa is that you keep your stun gaze and you he's saving a lot of skill points right now, and when he feels like he's safe, he's gonna put all of those in split shot and start farming nations.
More interaction down here. Fluff and Stuffy's the one that's nightmared up. The brain sap, the homing missile, the rocket barrage in the face, and Tusk just simply could not get away. So, if I saw that correctly, actually top lane, Snake King goes down again. So, again, unfortunately, I happened to miss the kill on him, but like I said, he can kind of do the simple math. Level 2 Melodic now with that simply sitting on top of the Underlord. So, clearly enough right there. Yeah, what about Medusa? As you mentioned, we don't really see a lot of Medusas lately. What's the build we're looking for on her when it comes to the items?
Usually what you see is the phase boots into Aquila Mask of Madness, and then there's a lot of stuff that you can go for. I expect I'm going to be able to outrange OD with Hurricane Pike, because that's probably what he's going to. I guess after Hurricane Pike, there's a lot of options. You can go Scotty, you can go Butterfly. I guess both options are pretty good.
That's right there. That time we saw the combo, and you can kind of just, again, the damage is just so intense between the Maledict. And a little bit luck there, right? The cask bouncing back to the second time the Nyx Assassin after the creep. But still, even without that bounce, I think they get that kill anyways on the Nyx. So Sammy Boy continues to at the top lane, and I'm guessing that's going to transition into the early Battle Fury here for Juggernaut, as he rotates bottom, though, for the time being. And they're smoking.
Like this. Rio level 4, so he's struggling. They want to try to help his lane.
Omni Slash ready to go. There's a snowball in, but there's creeps nearby now. He doesn't... Oh, he actually gets all hits on him, I think, with that Omni spinning in. The call down, keeping the others away, though, and then gets the turn kill onto the Magnus already. And now Sammy Boy, he's overcommitted. He's in a bad spot. Yar, he's kiting in. Rocket Barrage has to turn around, though. Has another Rocket Barrage. Doing a little bit of damage. Sammy Boy just cannot keep up. SVG going the other direction. Shards will prevent him from doing so, though. No Nightmare to be had. He does have a stick use. Could stick into a Nightmare. No, it's not going to happen in time. And he just Tusk running away, and now Juggernaut, he'll just heal on. Yeah, their intended target of the Gyrocopter, unsuccessful. He's just a little too fast.
Yeah, that's tough. Like, the Jugger still had Omni Slash, so he was trying to enable his Magnus a little bit, because the Magnus is the hero that will enable Juggernaut later. And you were mentioning he's going for it. He's having a great game, and there's not a lot of points in Empower yet, so he could try sometime with Battle Fury, but since the Magnus is struggling so much, I'm not sure if he will.
That's a good point. Yeah, I honestly didn't even think about the Magnus when I said that, so that is kind of a curious question then. It's like, yeah, do you still... Now, it does, I mean, it still could be very viable, right? You still get the plenty of regen for the Battle Fury, and that double cleave in a sense. I mean, you thought the damage was good from the power. It's even that much better with the Battle Fury, but there is a good argument to be made that you're rambling on. There's even more action continuing to happen. Ryu Boris does not have a signal away. Despite that spin, the Stone Gate's coming out. Sammy Boy's going for the TP. It's not going to be enough. He eventually is beat down with the auto attacks, and his 3-kill streak stopper is stopped by the Nyx Assassin. So the rotation's coming out from VGJ Storm, and it works out very well for them.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Yeah, and that Underlord, with half of the Dominator already, he offers so much. He's trying to hold the Creeper there, but he's struggling a little.
This Magnus. He's on the run. He's got a whole army after him. And eventually, the Underlord will actually decide to turn around.
Radiant's top tower is under
It's
attack.
scary for him, though. Yeah, Magnus is underfarmed, though. It's not only with items, but like you mentioned, he's still just sitting on the level 1 in power. He's only 5.5, and that's one of the dangers, the risky things about picking a Magnus as well. It's like you do rely on him to also buffer your Juggernaut, which right now he's not doing that, unfortunately.
Top tower is under attack.
Yeah, in the first levels, it seemed like they were having a good lane, but eventually his experience just tempered off. I guess he was afraid of committing too hard there with the Bane and Gyro having more levels too, a lot of kill potential. So he's trying now to just hold the towers while the Jugger and the OD farm.
And you do see Jugger, you know what, I have a Magnus, no sense of stack, wants the S and Y.
Dire's structures
See,
are fortified.
once he actually goes for it, but that's what he has queued up right now.
Is under attack.
It's homing missile. Meanwhile, Resolution's just pushing out middle, though. He's just having a Mask of Madness is coming
Fallen.
for Medusa. Oh, back to the bottom lane. That's at least going to be a kill on him. Looking for more. Sammy Boy, Omni Slash, all hits on Bane, and the auto attack to cut right through him. They will lose Magnus at the tail end of that, but they could chase for more. Fluff and stuff. He's got the shard block up shortly, as well as a snowball ready to go. There's a shard, hits them both. Not the easiest targets to kill, though, and there is Medusa nearby. Stone Gaze ready once again, so yeah, I don't want to go too deep.
That was funny, actually. They were fighting super hard there, and Resolution was just hitting the Ancients, just looking at his teammates. But yeah, now that he has his level 10 talent, the Mask of Madness has a lot of value, just because it gives you a lot of attack speed. And I mean, they did get the Gyro in the tire. They can never really pressure towers after getting any of those kills. Like, they killed the Bane, but they really didn't have enough push to try to get a tower. And that's really risky. You know, the Underlord's going to fallen for VGJ Storm. And they have this Medusa farming. So not only they're getting towers, they're getting their cores really farmed up.
A lot on this Juggernaut. He's got the Empower buff on him currently. And again, his net worth is overall pretty good. Considering it's still second in the game behind that Medusa. But it really is him as it drops off vastly after that. OD's about staff right now, and it goes downhill from there. But again, trying to push that tower. Look at, you got 4 heroes down here, 3 of them baiting the Juggernaut. That just goes to show you, again, protect this Juggernaut at all costs. And VGJ Storm, they're just like, yeah, we'll push this tier 2 tower. We're fine with that.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
They're pushing top. And, I mean, you got to respond if your team rejects. It's like, sure, you can get a tier 1, but you can't just give up your tier 2 either, right?
Yeah, I guess they have to, but I'm not sure if they feel comfortable. They don't have a lot of means to initiate, right? The Magnus still doesn't have a Blink Dagger. I guess you have the Snowball, but it's a little bit awkward.
Right. I thought it was so obvious that they're going to defend it, but no, they don't even let. They're content with saying, you know what, you got it. We're not going to try. We will fall back.
Yeah, and it's also like, it's very similar to when you have a black hole. The cooldown on reverse polarity is like relatively big. So if you actually commit closer tier 2s, Rose needs to be careful here.
He missed that stun. The spiked Carapace coming out. Oh, Juggernaut. All because he wanted to tease them a little bit. And that backfires for him. The Fiend's grip happens, and he could not get away.
Yeah. My point is just that if you commit the reverse polarity close to tier 2 when the enemy has an Underlord, has a Helm of the Dominator, it's very likely that they'll try to get a tier 3 just because they know that that's cooldown. And big Dark Rift towards the creep there, they're going to get Ghost. VGJ Storm, they look like they have a plan and they're executing perfectly.
Yeah, I was just about to say, this is a very, very organized team right now. That was a great play. Using that Uber. Now we do have, that's an illusion OD. They pick up on that pretty quickly. They see the real one. They care for team rejects. Although the shard block on Nyx Assassin is making it pretty nice. Maybe kill him at least, which they will. I don't know about extending further, though. It seems a little dangerous. Sammy Boy, as I say that, he's pretty far up there. Pops the heal ward. He will walk it off for now. And he's good. So, not really the biggest engagement there. I mean, again, they caught Nyx Assassin, but they didn't go overboard, which I think is good for Team Rejects. It felt like that was going to be a lost cause if they really tried to force that fight there. So
that Tusk is playing pretty well. I feel like he enabled a lot of kills with the shards. It's just that they don't really have, like, none of their cores can group up with the supports and actually get kills. You have this Magnus that really cares about finishing the Blink Dagger. You have the Jugger that just wants to scale. And the OD is like kind of far behind. He didn't had a good laning stage just because Nyx drained all his mana and he wants some defensive items. And that stuff, like, you have their supports have a lot of levels actually. Witch Doctor is level 8, almost level 9, and Tusk is level 6, but they can't really kill anyone just because they don't have a core to follow up.
Nyx Assassin with those drums, currently in Vendetta. He's going to pick up the Bounty Rune. He was seen right there with the Sentry, but obviously they can't really do anything about it. There's another Sentry here, so MSS, he's not the most hidden.
Dire's bottom tower is under
at least
attack.
in that spot. But
Radiant's
they're going to get the tier 1
middle
tower
tower
and
is under
very likely go for more. I mean, a Hurricane Pike delivered to Medusa. She has the Aegis, of course, still. Why would they stop? I mean, they clearly do not want to defend just yet. They're still waiting a bit. They need that blink on Magnus. That feels like the ultimate key.
It's pretty close.
Yeah. 2,000 gold saved up, but is it going to be fast enough? Oh my god, this Medusa Almost takes out the Witch Doctor. Will end up killing the Tusk, however. I mean, that's literally a hero that just runs into you and right clicks and still just instantly on. That was crazy.
Yeah. The bright side is that Ryoboros actually forced the gyro rotation back to the 2 on top, so it doesn't look like VJ Storm will force too hard. Oh, they're actually back drifting towards a catapult there.
Oh man, they see Sammy Boy. There's that
What
Fiend's
a
grip.
play.
That blocks down through the spin. Exactly. They are using this Uber ability to its full. You know, from the Roshan transition to that right there, that was a beautiful gank with it.
Yeah, it was clutch. The Juggernaut was like, yeah, gyro TP top, so I'm fine. They won't really pressure any lanes, but with that catapult just standing by, they get a clutch kill, and this is another tower.
Maggie here, it feels like. I mean, they're already down 10,000 net worth. He has to get that Blink RP. They don't know about it just yet, I don't believe. It's going to be coming soon, it looks like. He just takes out the supports. And you know what? He's going to live. I'm like, okay, so he's just going to suicide. Sure, and no, not the case. He manned up, and it worked out beautifully. Their damage was obviously lacking on Team Reject's side, especially with Juggernaut being dead. And are now destroyed.
Yep.
Blink RP, man.
The Medusa has so much extra DPS just because of the Helm of the Dominator aura, and I mean, she's also pretty farm. She's at like almost doubling the Juggernaut, and he was farming with Empower since the early game, so that's actually pretty impressive by Resolution. A lot of it is tower gold, and I guess they want to force a fight here, but maybe waiting the Aegis would be a better play.
Illusion.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure when the Aegis is going to be despawning, but you figure it's potentially going to be soon. So yeah, waiting it out, like you said. And then also the Eye of Scotty on Medusa is coming along, so why not? You know, pre-20-minute Eye of Scotty at this rate. Absolutely absurd. Impale. Not going to connect there. But keeping Team Rejects basically just blind. So they just kind of have to sit back and hope for the best. As the Aurora goes in with the call down, going to evaporate Witch Doctor. Sammy Boy forced to just spin very defensively there. And Resolution's like, all right, I guess we'll just push tier 3 then. Slowly but surely. It's a level 15 challenge.
Because...
Nope.
Oh.
Okay, it's like, oh, now what? Well, it was a great skewer, but it didn't really result in anything. SVG may end up going down. Nightmare is still alive. Finally will actually end up falling. However, the Stone Gate's connecting. Magnus, he wasn't able to get up an RP that whole fight. He ends up dropping. OG, of course, picked off as well, who does buy back quickly, but you're buying back on one of your cores this early on in the game. You know you're...
Yeah, no buyback on the Magnus, so they can't really engage. It's tough because he doesn't want to RP because the age was about to expire. It just expired, really. But since he waited, now this is the first in the barracks for VJ Storm.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
Alright, it's going to Dark Rift out. Well, at least some of them. Couple are, I guess, MSS. Yeah, he's just going to go his own way. Big group, again, probably finish that Eye of Scotty at least on Resolution. And, oh yeah, there's that Gyrocopter who's also farming very well. As the SNY drums, 2,600 gold save. That's the case, you know, it's, as casters, we try our best to, you know, keep hope alive. And, okay, well, what can they do now? I really just don't know if there's much that Rejects can do at this point other than just hope for the God RP and to cleave them down from it. It's basically what it comes down to.
The best case scenario is OD lands a beautiful Sandy's Eclipse, drains 70% of Medusa's mana, then you RP, and the Jugger gets the lucky bounces into the Medusa. But it's tough. Oh, and the Nyx Assassin there almost gets the Spike Carapace into the Astro.
He'll still catch him. Although, Tusk is ready to respond. Here comes an Omni. That's a creep. Creep takes most of the damage. That Mud Golem. MVP. The Fiend's Grip, but the Imprisonment will stop it. However, OD killing himself to do so, perhaps. Although, no, he takes out the next Assassin. That's heading to the clip doing work, actually. And he's going to turn on a ban. The spin from Juggernaut definitely doing work. Pit him also will root him in place. The heal, it's not going to be nearly enough. It's so little. Tusk will snowball him up, try to keep him alive a little bit longer at least. But no, the damage is real. Yarwar and Snake King run him down, fluffing stuff. The shard block, a little bit awkward. Wrong side, unfortunately. And Resolution's like, oh, hey, guys, I was farming. My bad. I'm coming. There's the Eye of Scotty.
And it's tough, right? Because it seemed like a solo Nyx, and I mean, VJ, the Rejects right now, they wanted to get it, but that was actually a great bait, and they're gonna be able to again fight without the Magnus being there or being able to use RP, and this is most likely only up there.
We're very likely, unless it happens right. It's by no means am I trying to make it seem like it's an easy, like he should just be spamming RP randomly, but we're possibly not going to see a reverse polarity. Okay, as I say that, there you go. He uses it, but it's 2 supports. Death Ward, okay, they might actually kill Gyrocopter here. They'll Medusa, and they're going to turn on Mike, Dark Rip, and that'll be the end of that. Okay, well, it's not going to be the whole game. We did get the 1 RP, and that was actually pretty good considering.
Yeah. VTJ Storm may be forcing it a little bit too much, but it doesn't really matter that much, just because, you know, they're fighting outside their base. They were able to get the tier 3 push coming from Reject, so even though they get those kills, they're transitioning to...
Okay, this Fiend's Grip has been used every cooldown, it feels like, on the Juggernaut. He just keeps catching him with that.
Yeah, and that's really the problem. They know they can't go for a tower, so he goes for the Ancients, but VTJ Storm, they have a lot of awards here, and they were able to scout the Jugger, and now he's Tusk most likely.
A Nightmare going up, not sure about that, but stuff is just going to live as long as possible.
Just taunting a little bit. Damage resolution.
Part of me is a little surprised Team Rejects is insisting on still hanging into this game, but they are for now. OD is... So where the hell was OD? Wow, way over here. Okay, yeah, I guess not really working out the best. It's found. And Resolution's just padding those stats, man. He's showing why VGJ Storm recruited him. Pick him up, Medusa. Apparently he'll do pretty well.
Yeah, and that's like... Magnus is gonna have RP, so I guess that's their last one. He doesn't have that much damage.
Not Bane. Gonna kill him most likely. Put a mouse on the back. Let's the RP. No, actually didn't go off right there this whole time. Even a pipe coming out finally does go down, but Magnus will end up falling before he can get off that RP chance. Okay, so potential last stand from Team Reject. That cask bounce doing some work. Omni Slash on top of that. Maledict is up on Resolution. But now he's got the Stone Gaze. The multi-shots gets a couple of Stone Forms activated. OD will fall. Sammy Boy will manage to live back in base. Well, let's go back to Tier 3 Tower. This first case once again from Snake King. So there you go. It's official. GG well played is called. And Game 1 will go the way of VGJ Storm here in this 2-game series of the round robin.
Radiant victory. The Radiant now have Mega Creeps.
Thoughts, Bowie?
I feel like Team Rejects, they need to start picking heroes that can fight without items. Like when you have Magnus that pretty much needs a blink. I mean, I guess their idea was Magnus will allow Jugger to fight without Battle Fury, but then you actually need to commit more on the Magnus lane because he struggled quite a bit and they were never able to refight. DOD was just like farming constantly trying to get the items, and you had all these make any place. So maybe try to be greedy, but get one core that can actually fight with the support so that you can enable your other teammates.
All right, we'll see.
They were too greedy with their picks. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the OD early on, I don't know. It's tough to say if that was like an issue necessarily, but I mean, picking up OD that early seems a little risky in itself as well. I know you even kind of talked about that. And they did get the Nyx Assassin, which in a sense, especially with that mana burn from the bat off the bat, was definitely annoying for him. So, funny enough, again, as you were pointing out though too, he's on paper OD should kind of, especially against the Medusa, but obviously we never even really got to that point. The early game was just dominated by VGJ Storm, and that's what they were playing for in this game clearly. So, well played by them, and very deserving of the victory. So, it's the first day of what's going to be 3 days here for the round robin. So, plenty of matches to come, including another game here in this series. So, sit tight, guys. The Dota 2 Super Major North American qualifiers. VGJ Storm versus Team Rejects. We got game number 2 coming up next.
All right.
All the things in the past, all the memories, I'm reaching out to get into the ground, and I'm falling to the ground, and I don't want the fucking feeling when I'm down, and I'm falling down again, and I'm falling down again.
seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Ten seconds remaining.
All right, welcome back.
5 seconds
Ladies and
remaining.
gentlemen, boys and girls, here we are, game number 2. So that's the final one. But we got VGJ Storm versus Team Rejects here. And VGJ Storm, of course, up one game, number 1 victory. So looking forward to seeing what happens in game 2 now. And if Rejects can make the adjustments necessary
10 seconds
to
remaining.
at least finish with a split here. Again, a round-robin stage, so only a
Radiant
2-game
team
series.
ban.
Every win essentially gets you a point. So, of course, 2-0, 2 points. 1-1 would be 1 for each.
Dire
0-2,
team
0
pick.
points. Pretty simple math. Bans are finished on Breaky CPK, joined by Bowie once again. All right, Bowie, we got game number 2 now. Looking forward to this one
Yeah.
here. Do you think Rejects has a chance?
I feel like with the right draft for sure. I mean, they have a
10
lot of
seconds
top tier
remaining.
players. It's just that VGJ Storm, yeah, I'm pretty sure they had
5
more games
seconds
and they probably
remaining.
have a better idea of what they want to do. So you kind of
Radiant
want to
team
you want to have good lanes, you know, so you can start with the right foot and eventually try to outsmart and outplay VGJ Storm. But they're actually opening with first phase terribly here, so that's quite funny, really, because before this patch, I guess like 1-2 months ago, people would try to
10 seconds
fifth pick it
remaining.
or fourth pick it, and nowadays everyone's like,
Seconds
and they
remaining.
have one game up, so I guess they feel confident doing it.
Yeah, and you know there are some heroes that maybe come to mind that are like, oh yeah, they picked up a Terrorblade now, ABC, you know, whatever. But I feel like there's a reason. One of the reasons why Terrorblade is
Radiant
actually one of the most
team
powerful heroes and cores right now in the game is because his counters
team
against
pick.
him aren't necessarily the most. One of them's banned an Underlord, you could say now. Another one that is there is a Doom. And Doom, you know, the idea that he gets on top of him, he dooms him up. Even after, though, preventing that Sunder effect from happening is still pretty viable.
10
So
seconds remaining.
not surprised to see the Doom here, I guess, on top of the Visage for that. It's still a very strong hero, no matter what, it feels like.
Yeah, and I really like this opener because if you, I'm assuming those are heroes that can fight without big items. You know, a Blink Dagger on that Doom or a Shadow Blade is good, but you can still just run at people and start doing things. Doom, great counter to Terrorblade, so I really like their opener. And they get the Jakiro. Some Siege, you already
10
have the
seconds
Terrorblade, so I expect them going for early towers. And the attack speed's low is also
5
pretty
seconds
huge
remaining.
versus Visage and the Visage
Dire
builds.
team ban.
Yeah, Jakiro. Fun to see that hero. Not one we get to see too often, it feels like. Or maybe, again, I haven't casted a lot of NA Dota recently. I feel like an NA maybe. In the European
Radiant
Dota that I've been
team
casting a
ban.
lot as of late has not been the most popular support hero. But
Yeah, actually, I mean, it's pretty much just Vega, but they pick Core Jakiro. It's pretty fun to see.
Oh,
Not sure if
really?
you ended up.
Was
Yeah,
that
they
core?
give-
When you say core, was it mid or off lane or what?
They play in the
10
safe lane and the mid lane.
seconds
It's Undershock that plays
wow.
it. It's insane. He just gets Seal Scepter, Blink Dagger, and just start
5
killing
seconds
people.
remaining.
It's awesome.
Huh, interesting. Broodmother ban coming out from Team Reject, so another hero you just don't want to deal with. And now thinking of their final, or their 5th ban more so. So it is kind of funny how 3 of the first 4 picks are more core type heroes. I guess Doom actually, and in fact Doom will probably be more of a position for his goal is no doubt going to be I need to get on top of Terrorblade and get that early Shadow Blade or Blink, whatever it may be, to allow him to do that, and that be his goal. So that'd be my guess at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he could be position 4 for sure. You can always you can always keep eating creeps, you know, and scale a lot as a position 4, whereas a lot of
Dire
position 4
team
sometimes
ban.
they struggle with gold and getting items. And they banned the Batrider this time. Pretty good versus Visage. If you just get on top of the Visage, you just break all the layers, and then the hero's pretty burstable, so you want to be able to stand your ground. And so this hero is
10
probably position
seconds
5,
remaining.
which leads me
Radiant
to
team
believe,
pick.
like with Tusk and Bounty Hunter and IO band, what are the position 4s that we can expect to see here? Maybe something like Earth Spirit could be an option for the rejects. Pretty good versus Terrorblade.
10
The AoE is
seconds
slow.
remaining.
The AoE,
5
I
seconds
mean,
remaining.
but then you don't have a position for Doom, so I don't know.
Yeah, it goes back to that. Yeah, exactly. So
Dire
yeah.
team pick.
third pick. Well, there's plenty more crowd control going with the Witch Doctor. That was something that really both these teams right now are a little bit lacking. That's what I was noticing. So Witch Doctor provides a little bit more consistency there with the cask. Sand King is still on the board, and speaking of crowd control and even position 4,
10
so
seconds remaining.
I think BGJ Storm could definitely snatch him up here.
Yeah, I feel like it's the
5
most
seconds
likely hero
remaining.
they can get.
Radiant
What is ladder, huh?
Interesting. Slaughter's been seeing a little bit. He's gotten some buffs recently, and feels like people are remembering the hero again. So Slaughter coming out instead, and again he brings the crowd control. A little bit more. He needs the ball.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I feel like it's an interaction with Visage. The way that the
5
Visage passive
seconds
works is,
remaining.
if you take more than 50 damage when you get an attack, the layer fades away and you start taking more damage. So since it's after Visage, every attack is going to proc the passive layers, and then you're super squishy. So maybe that's what they want. It's more about the corrosive haste than anything. And Doom's also very low armor, so you get pretty burstable when you add this ladder in the mix.
Interesting. So yeah, you're talking about that Gravekeeper's cloak on Visage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't really think about that. That's a really good point, actually. Their logic and reasoning behind it. Now, whenever you see Slaughter 2, obviously with that physical enhancement, right now I mean, Terrorblade sure can benefit from it. I get big time physically. It's not like the Lifestealer bomb, for example, but obviously they even banned
Legion Commander.
Legion Commander. Okay, well that purges off corrosive haze. So there's that.
This looks like a 2015 draft or something,
Yeah.
like Doom and Legion.
school.
But I like seeing different heroes. Dispel, amazing
10 seconds
versus
remaining.
Jakiro, amazing versus the Larder 2. The overwhelming odds, right? So a lot of extra burst damage on the Terrorblade.
Yep, that's true. Get that duel up. So actually, he's been casting with me a bit recently. Funny enough, that I was actually just casting with him before this series, and I was asked if I could cast this series, and so I hit him up, and I'm like, hey, you want to cast? And he's like, oh, I'm actually playing in that game. Oh, well, that's awkward. So,
Oh.
but that's why we got you, Bell. You need to jump on. So.
That's cool.
But the point I was getting at is that we watched a game recently where there was actually a core Doom, and he seemed to like the idea of it. So I am wondering if that's a possibility here from Team Rejects. But at the same time, that I guess the one downside is, again, if you go position 1 Doom, then maybe you're not as focused on getting on that Terrorblade ASAP and applying the Doom effect. You'd rather deal more, be more the damage dealer himself. So maybe not. But
It could be an option, really. Because this core Doom that you're actually, I know which game you're talking about, and if I remember correctly, and Radiance is usually an item that you want to go versus Terrorblade just because it reduces his damage by a lot, and he's high armor, so the magic damage adds a lot of value. It could be a possibility. I don't know much about Rejects, but I was seeing the Legion Commander, was like, okay, this is definitely position 4 Doom, but now you mentioned that, and I'm confused. It could be position 1 Doom. I guess it depends on their offlaner, so maybe they're waiting, and they'll try to adjust afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, BGJ Storm almost seems like they're caught off by the LC pick too, and just where the draft is going because this 4th pick.
And I mean, yes, position 4 is more likely.
Yeah. Offlane Sutter just doesn't
Radiant team ban.
seems like he'd get bullied pretty easily. Yeah, Darkseer, on the other hand, is a little more difficult. That surge, and of course,
I like this because Lardar has a lot of. I really like seeing. I don't like Darkseer as a hero, but I like when teams pair it up with
10
supports that can
seconds
actually be aggressive with Iron Shell level 1. And Slaughter Darkseer is definitely a good
5
combination for
seconds
that.
remaining.
Now, they're lacking a position 2 for BGJ Storm and a position. We have no idea.
Yeah,
for
we're in
Reject.
position. Who the hell knows? For Team Rejects, it really is up in the air, honestly. But yeah, BGJ Storm, I'm with you. Definitely more than mid hero, and they have the first final pick. So
Maybe a DP ban
Dire
here.
team ban.
well, they banned Puck. Like Death Prophet, yeah, I don't see why Death Prophet would be bad necessarily.
Yeah, I feel like it's a hero that after you exert that much, it also gives them a lot of push. It looks like they're, you know, they want to have a lot of physical damage, so the Ghost with Corrosive Haze is pretty strong. Feels like they could just F-ball rejects if they get it.
I'm wondering too. Oh, I was gonna say OD actually, but no, they banned OD themselves. But more of like a saving tool against the LC duels, something that they could have been thinking about as well. But that ban happening, so they banned Medusa. Funny enough, they dominated with Medusa the first game, and really not your most popular hero, honestly, right now. But take your idea.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty strong versus Terrorblade. You have that X build where you just kill all the illusions and steal a lot of mana, so you get pretty tanky. So you get a Razor for BJ Storm, pretty strong laner. I guess they want to pair the Razor versus the Legion. Legion really doesn't do much if she's against the
10
Razor.
seconds remaining.
And I guess we're gonna understand Reject's draft now
seconds
after this pick. I'm pretty confused.
I mean, they have to do it quickly, so I'm still
Choose your
lost.
hero.
I still don't know. All right, so Master Conchuro, he's mid Pugna. It's Fluff on the Doom, so it is position 4. Sammy Boy's on the Visage, actually. That's what that means. Okay. So it is a position 1 Visage. And then, yeah, Ryu playing the LC in the off lane. Interesting. Pugna, final pick, though.
Yeah, they were liking push. The only hero that pushes Pugna. I also like the fact that you can decrepify people that like most of their core damage is physical. You know, the Razor, the Terrorblade. So the decrepify is pretty strong. It's also some AoE damage to the illusions. I guess it's a pretty okay draft until Slaughter has Blink Dagger. Then I can see them just bursting that Pugna every fight.
Yeah, I'm with you there. That's the first thing that I really thought about with the Pugna too, though. It's that decrepify, like you were saying. It's kind of that saving tool. So those things where, you know, we will see Pugnas a lot of the time. They want to use decrepify offensively, right? Where they want to use it with the Nether Blast, with the Life Drain. So it's a matter of managing that cooldown effectively within the fights. But
yeah. Right, sometimes you want to get a duel, but the hero's decrepified and not dealing any damage. It can get awkward sometimes.
Yeah,
I feel like it's way better in the laning stage, which is the problem that they faced in the first game. So I like this. It feels like they're trying to address some of the issues that they have. I like it.
Yeah. All right, so rejects again. They're trying to split the series here against VGJ Storm, but difficult task, no doubt, going into it. And like you're talking about too, Storm. They like Terrorblade, and Resolution Terrorblade does sound like a scary player-hero combination. They first picked this hero in this draft, so they got confidence, to say the least. So we'll see how much impact they do.
For good reason.
Of course. So yeah, Resolution playing it. That's also worth pointing out. He's going to be playing the mid Terrorblade. The Razor safe lane. So what, Terrorblade versus Visage? That's definitely not a matchup we get often. In the middle.
Yeah, I feel like it's an okay matchup. When you get Metamorphosis, you can actually right-click the Visage out of the lane. Visage has very poor base damage, very poor armor too. So at the early stages, the Terrorblade does well. After the birds, it gets a little bit scary. You know, the bird drop also very strong versus Terrorblade, just because you can't Sunder. You have a BKB.
Every time every time we have a Visage in the game, and obviously I bring that up with my co-cash, it's like, all right, what do we think of this matchup? I feel like it's nearly the same as you kind of explained it right there. Always, it's just like, yeah, in the earlier phase, you know, he's going to be a little bit weaker, but once the birds come out, then the game kind of changes, and that's just how the hero plays. I mean, it's safe to say he obviously relies on those familiars quite a bit to be effective in the game. But once they're there, then he's much deadlier, no doubt.
Yeah. And Sammy Boy is going for the new build. Usually, you know, a lot of people they build new Talisman on Visage just because they feel like, oh, it's intelligence hero, so I want to get mana. But a lot of people going for the Ekla now. You really care about pushing, so the armor pretty good. It's actually rotating. Doesn't want to face the Terrorblade.
Well, look at what Storm's doing, by the way. They just cut the Creepway with a double Ion Shell, and they're diving Legion Commander. So he may have to TP here off the bat. I mean, they have a crush stopper off. If he isn't careful, Fluff is also going to slow them a little bit. The Infernal Blade actually on Jakiro right there, but they're just hugging that tower. What a strategy, though. Go to the creep wave again. The double ion shell is going to take this creep wave down. This reminds me of the Axe Dazzle days.
Sure. This is funny. They are boosting the fact that Doom, Doom's kind of like an enigma. He's forced to get Infernal Blade, but that's not the best skill level 1. So they're like, yeah, this Doom can't really do anything. We're gonna try to dive you. And
right now, this isn't Dota anymore. what the hell's going on? Dual Breath, that'll slow him down. Actually, the Ion Shell's gonna burn him now. He has a crush ready. Yeah, he's dead. I mean, he's gonna crush right after that, and Ion Shell will eventually tick him down. So this is gonna be first blood. If he could get an eye off, that would have been huge. But staking
was a brawler.
Credit, yeah, that would have been pretty big, but unable to get there in time. So, but what the hell does LC do? I mean, this has got to be so frustrating.
Yeah, I feel like you want to get level 2 on the Dooms. He gets level 2 and then he rotates because I guess you want to get levels here because he's not gonna get a lot of CS for a while.
Like, could they send? Should they send Witch Doctor to the bottom lane? I guess is the only thing they truly could do. To twice LC and say, you know what, good luck. You're on your own down there, kind of deal.
I feel like it's hard because Witch Doctor is pretty slow, and that Ion Shell is just gonna kill him.
Yeah. Speaking of Witch Doctor, top lane actually, he's going for a kill. They're gonna get played, Sammy Boy. He's being linked up. So yeah, looking more at the lanes as Fluff actually is found in the jungle. He's run down by the Ion Shell. Razor, one more attack. He's got the kill himself. No, Sammy Boy jukes, and he'll survive. But that goes back to Pugna is matched up against Terrorblade now, and Visage is actually at the top lane. So these lanes are just very interesting. That's, I think, a good word to say.
Yeah, I feel like Visage doesn't mind laning, so they're like, we're liking push, we want to create space, we want to get levels to that Pugna, so they're getting a pretty decent matchup. They're also shutting down Wrestle a little bit just because of how much damage the Pugna offers early on.
MSS is getting a little low down here. Let's be somewhat careful, but he'll crush and run away. So yeah, right, Boris, I mean, he's going to manage to be level 4 at this point as Yara goes down at the top lane. Looks like the Maledict actually taking him down. I was watching just LC down there hug the tower.
That's a lot of low.
That's a nice kill on Razor. Middle, are they going for this? Metamorphosis, Reflection to slow. Currently disarmed though because of that Decrepify that we're talking about. And Fluff is going for the turn. The Nether Blast. Resolution's going to go down here. He popped the Metamorphosis to go offensive, and he ends up dying shortly after, and they're also going to take out Jakiro with the Nether Blast. That was a great turn from the Radiant side.
Nicely done. And that's really one of the Infernal Blade dealing percentage-based damage, so that armor from, and it's magic damage. So the armor from the Terrorblade doesn't matter, and you have so much burst with the Pugna. I really like that they're laning Pugna versus TD here. It allows the rotations from Fluff to be very effective. And yeah, no Metamorphosis for Resolution. Doesn't have a lot of CS. And it looks like the Legion is now having a better lane here in the bottom.
Alright, does have the assistance of SVG, though, does Yarwar. They get the kill on Razor, though, but Sammy Boy will fall quickly in the response. But again, Razor going down himself. And that 1 versus 2 essentially at the top lane. And we got quite the clash early on. It's only not even 5 minutes in. It's already 5 to 4 hero kills in favor of Team Rejects. Yeah. But is there something that's really standing out to you that's like, this team's in the lead, or is it just pretty even right now, you think? It's SVG, by the way. He's also going to predict and just trying to get as much damage as possible. Razor will run in, and actually Sammy Boy again has to be careful, it looks like. Yarwar going to try to run him down. No more Link to be had. Just sneak on out, actually. So, but yeah, back to the question here.
Nice. I wouldn't say any of the teams is really ahead, but for sure this is a better game for the Reject. Oh, top lane. That's Razor again.
Wow.
Think about the lanes, like they had greedy, their heroes were too greedy and they needed items to fight, and now we have this dude. Oh, need to be careful actually.
That's a Sunder. That caught Pugna completely off guard.
Yeah. But yeah, they just have better lanes, and I feel like they have a lot more possibilities on how they're going to approach their mid game. They're not like farming this hero and everyone's trying to to get any kills possible just to create space. Everyone can fight now.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Speaking of that, Terrorblade picking up the haste rune, and he's actually making his way to the... He's hoping the bounty rune was still about, I guess, but obviously Witch Doctor had just snatched it up, so he'll send around all the way to the east of Visage, and Visage will scare him away with the bird, so that was a curious decision there as SVG goes down elsewhere. Looks like at the bottom lane. No, that was actually over the mid. At the bottom lane, the Legion Commander, he was low on life himself. Boris just keeping life on the edge as MSS diving him though. The Surge has the Iron Shell. The Crush connects. One more auto attack maybe? Yes, gets the kill. I mean, he's only has 2 deaths is almost surprising because this has got to just be so cancerous. But a double kill in the end as they take out Witch Doctor. On top of that, middle lane, this game is just chaos right now.
This looks like the South American qualifiers that I casted yesterday. It's so high octane, it's insane, but it's fun. Yeah, I really like the fact that Rejects understood their problems early on, and yeah, the duel, and he already has it.
That's true.
Dire's
We'll
top
see if we can
tower
get
is
a
under attack.
dual kill, start adding up some damage. More worried about farm. I also like seeing this on Darkseer, by the way. He actually gets the Helm of the Dominator right away. He doesn't even go boots. He went bottle into Helm of the Dominator. It allows you to obviously, run after people with that and on top of the slaughter, and it's just more ammunition basically for that Iron Shell.
Yeah, it's pretty strong. Oh, they popped 2 smokes on the side of the GJ Storm.
I saw that.
Sandy boy.
Well, they not only did they do that, but it was exposed right away by Doom. That happened to be in the area. As the Familiars will stun them, and the Nether Blast will actually scare them now. Yeah, they're in trouble. The Familiars coming back in. They're going to kill off at least one of the Familiars, but down goes MSS, and they're also should manage to live. Unless Master Kenshiro can catch up. Decrepify, 1 second. There you go. Life drain. Not enough damage, though. Fluff is doing no damage. I don't know why he's still chasing. Yeah, he literally is doing negative damage.
Yeah, that was rough, but he couldn't attack, so ended up overextending there. But, I mean, that Razor, 3 deaths already, level 6. They're going to force his tower with the Pugum. They already took tier 1 mid, and like, Rejects, they're actually taking a lot of good engagement. Support for us is already level 5 at 8 minutes. This is very, very good for Doom. 3 points in Infernal Blade. Really like his build, by the way. Like, that's the best way to play Doom.
Yeah, I love that Mud Golem. It has the mini Mud Golems. Still be able to do something. Okay, that's the dangerous thing about going to Helm of the Dominator against a Doom is right there. He actually just devours the Centaur that he had, and they'll just run after Jakiro. Man, this is... He already has 7 deaths at this point. Yeah, he's not your support hero that really can get away effectively, so he doesn't even have Ice Path at this point.
Yeah, it's really rough. The Slaughter, though, having a pretty good game. He's almost level 6, pretty close to Blink Dagger, considering it's only 9 minutes into the game.
Razor, there's a dual victory. Oh, we can't get the victory and the save from MSS. But no victory to be had. Another Terrorblade Metamorphosis. No. And, okay, did he just try to smoke? I am pretty sure I saw Witch Doctor use a smoke right there, just hoping some reason that would work.
To pop the magic one and misclicked.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That was funny. Anyways, he falls, and obviously this Metamorphosis is going to transition into the tower kill, but hey, it's been about 20 seconds. That means another kill to happen. Slaughter, he's dead. Sammy Boy, he's running in with the Familiars. SVG, we're going to see death number 8 on him at 10.5 minutes into the game, but I've been looking at that overall net worth for either team this whole game. It's 15-9 hero kills. We have freaking 24 hero kills in 10 minutes, yet it's under 1,000 net worth. These guys don't fight.
Yeah, it's rough, but it's kind of like Rejects. They don't have the best late game on those heroes when you compare now Terrorblade and, I mean, just Terrorblade pretty much. So you want to get the early map control, and even though they have 2 towers up, I guess, yeah, after they take bottom, they're going to have 2 towers up. The advantage is not that big, I guess a little bit because of the changes on tower gold. So when you actually start getting towers, it's fortified. But I feel like they have to do this, and they're doing a good job. Maybe they can secure Roshan when they also have a medallion in the Visage. I'm not sure if he's going Solar Crest, but Roshan is probably one objective that they're keeping in mind right now.
Is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, let's start. We have a little bit of calm here. Let's take a closer look at some items being picked up. I mean, this Pugna, he's already got an Aether Lens, actually, and he's going right into an Axe. Master Kenjiro, he is second in farm. Yeah, you think that's the right choice?
Yeah, for sure, because you have no cooldown on Life Rain and you just destroy every single illusion. So that's very good versus Terrorblade.
Ah, good point.
You reduce the DPS by a lot.
Yeah, it's usually a pretty good item on him in general, but yeah, that's a great point to bring up about the illusions. Even more so in that case, so Terrorblade scouting out with those illusions. Smoke, though, preventing them from being seen, of course. They do find the real Terrorblade. They're going to doom him up. No, just Inferno Blade. Gate gets the center off, though, Fluff. He still survives, and they killed Terrorblade anyway, so. I was going to say, I thought he was going to doom him just to, oh, he didn't even have it up, though. That makes more sense. It's kind of hard to use an ability when it's on cooldown, so. Terrorblade.
Yeah, they were very confident with that rotation because, as you said, they didn't have Doom, but so much lockdown with the birds, and even though he's Thunder, right? He actually died.
Yeah, it didn't matter. Wow, look at Razor, by the way, a net worth. Oh my god, he's way down there. Yarwar can't have anything happen this game positive. He's really struggling when it comes to farm.
Yeah. Even though we were mentioning that Legion was not doing great, I really expected that. I feel like VGJ Storm wanted to pair Razor versus LC, and since they were not able to, it was a pretty hard harding for that Razor. He's trying to farm a Hood now to survive the burst damage, but that's Roshan for Regents.
That should be. Oh, I don't know how certain actually. They're heading over. Smoked up. Metamorphosis is ready. MSS has got a blink, a big 4-man crush in top of the plasma field. Resolution running in. There's the Metamorphosis. The cleave damage is real. Down goes Pugna Visage. LC's gonna fall. It's a disaster. This is Slaughter on the dire side. They might lose Jakiro. IX Mike, though, that Death Ward is going to be stopped eventually. He goes down. So that you see the Doom effect up on Terrorblade, but it was too little, too late. They finish off Roshan for themselves. That is a game-changing fight right there.
Oof, what a blink dagger timing. Oh my god.
Radiant's middle tower
Definitely didn't expect that.
I was wondering. I saw him sneaking up, and I couldn't click on him before he actually did blink in to make sure, but he must have just gotten that. SVG goes down, but they do take out the tier 1, and the rest just going to retreat as fast as they can. Oh, Familiar Stun hits Yarwar. They catch him. Nether Blast missed. How much do they want to go? MSS again, the stun in. You see Snaking doing what he can with that Ion Shell. However, it's going to be a victory for the LC. And that's going to feel good because that's finally her first victory. Look at Snaking. With an Invisor, and he's just sitting on top of them. Ion Shell. Okay, I mean, if they get vision. Yeah, I guess they don't have any kind of vision, so he knows he's safe. Anyhow.
Okay. Yeah, the Blink Dagger on Slugger is pretty scary for them to fight against. I like that the Terrorblade is going Sanjanyasha. It's actually pretty common nowadays. You rarely see Manta on Terrorblade, but it's another, like the eggs on the Pugna is another reason for you to not go for the Manta. And it looks like the game's gonna stop a little bit. They have that Aegis, so I guess they just want to farm Resolution to has BKB, and then you start really going for fights.
Pugna, we talked about that Ags and how powerful it's going to be. It's slowing down progress a little bit after that last fight, but he's still working on it. Puts down the Nether Ward, but Darkseer will just jet on out of there. As he pops Surge, and he's just going to TP. He's buying a Crimson Guard, by the way. Yeah, that's something we really haven't talked too much about, but Darkseer has actually been the top farmer in the game for pretty much this whole game, it feels like. And he went the Helm of the Dominator, he went the Soul Ring, and now he's going to have a Crimson Guard in the near future. You think that's the right choice?
I mean, for his team it is. Usually, I feel like he had the choice of going Pipe just because of the burst damage for the Pugna, but you know, the birds, they're very scary. I guess the Duo is also a lot of damage. Doesn't work versus the Nether Ward, but yeah, I guess he felt like that was the right choice. They lost a lot of towers, so if the rejects try to go for high ground, you can also apply it to your buildings, so it slows their push as well. So I guess that's his reasoning. I'm not sure if it's the best option, but they have a plan, and I guess they want to play around that.
Yeah, with it is a little curious, because like you're saying, I mean, you figure one of the biggest core on the other side is arguably that Pugna. and he's not really looking to deal physical damage anytime soon. I mean, sure, Visage, as you're pointing out, but it seems like the Crimson Guard is a little overkill and not absolutely necessary, but it's not that it means that it's bad either, right? It's just one of those, like, he gets it, it's still going to be good, but we have initiation once again up at the top lane. Pugna's melting away, got out the Magnifier finally. Darkseer trying to run him down, vacuums his back in, puts the wall down just in case, and Pugna will be cut off. Visage still not trying to run out of here as well. Another Grave Chill in 2 more seconds. It's not going to matter, though. Too much lockdown. The Familiar is going to get the turn kill on MSS at least, but he eventually goes down. Meanwhile, what is happening? It was bottom lane. What the hell? They're pushing him with Terrorblade and Razor. Okay, well, Terrorblade's dead. He does have an Aegis. If he even dies. Yes.
He's so fast.
Die. So, can they save him? Probably not. Darkseer's coming. There's a duel. Okay, he's dead. So, yeah, that was definitely 2 different fights happening.
They had a double damage on the Terrorblade, so they were like, okay, we're gonna try to force them back, but they ended up winning the fight, so they really didn't need anyone to go back. Visage has to buy back. That's very costly. That's a level 11, Sandy boy. Gonna get the Solar Crest now, but I feel like what happened with the Darkseer, oh, this is gonna be fine.
Yeah, Witch Doctor dead.
I feel like they felt pressure in the early game, and they were like, okay, this Visage is gonna be big. We really need the Solar Crest to hold high ground and wait to rest so he's ready to fight. But as the game unfolded and they got that Roshan, they felt like, I mean, you already have a Vanguard, but he would probably get piped if he knew it would be ahead after that Roshan.
I love this Yule's pickup too on Razor. You mentioned the Hood earlier, and now the Yule's, but also an offensive setup tool for him. And Razor, Yule still is a big fan of that movement speed, as we know. So he's using that to zip. You see that Crimson Guard finish as mentioned. Sammy Boy is going to be hopeful and hope that the TP works. That's not going to work. He's found that Link. He stole so much damage there, 224. Exact.
Yeah, there's a lot of utility on the Scepter. You can also cancel the Death Ward as well as Life Drain, and you can also use it to get more Static Link, as we saw on the visit. Pretty good.
And then catch that kill right there, but it's just Jakiro dying, so whatever.
Radiant's bottom shrine is under attack.
I mean, feels bad, but at the end of the day, what matters is that Slaughter got enabled by the Darkseer in the offlane, and he got such an early Blink Dagger. It really allowed BGJ Storm to get back into this game. This is 4K lead for them.
Oh yeah, and obviously it's that Roshan fight, but it's the Blink Dagger on Slaughter that allowed for that fight to go as well as it did. So, absolutely agree. And BGJ Storm has just been feeding off of that momentum now, and you know, again, it's a 4,000 net worth lead, so not to act like this is just over by any means, but it's definitely a team whenever you have a Legion Commander who's now starting to get on top of the net worth chart, you are a little bit fearful for the other team, in this case, Team Rejects. He by the way, he's working on that BKB, and you do look at the Radiant lineup. Now, again, it's one of those cases, like, BKB's good. It's not the ultimate answer, but Jakiro's found again. It just doesn't stop. So yeah, well, what is your take on BKB this game for the Terrorblade? How good is it going to be for him?
It's very necessary. At the end of the day, he's the highest killing core, so he doesn't mind going BKB right now because he knows that as long as he's...
Oh my God, Pugna just melted there.
He's already low armor, and then you add the Corrosive Haze on top of it. Resolution just smashes everyone. And I mean, he doesn't really need that many items just because he has Corrosive Haze, so it kind of feels good to go BKB just because you survive and you already have damage anyways. He has the Sanjanyasha to be able to chase people because of his wall. And oh man.
Yeah, it almost seems like Team Rejects is getting a little bit desperate right now. They did not expect that many people to be there. They tried to go on a Razor. He had the link up, though, on Visage. And he basically made Visage do no damage while he himself dealt plenty. So, Slaughter rotation. The kills happen. So, BGJ Storm, once again, starting to get a bit of a snowball going here in game number 2 now. As you have the top 3 farmers all belonging on their side, and by a hefty amount, too. It's not like it's just very close. It's net worth right now between the 3 top heroes on the dire side. Only 21 minutes. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it really looks like that Roshan was...
Radiant's middle tower
they really wanted that Roshan.
Under attack.
Put a stop to their plans. It doesn't look like they have a plan to, like, if they lost that Roshan, they didn't consider that option to exist, and it feels like they're just lost right now.
Razor.
So
Radiant's
what do they
top
have
shrine
here?
is under attack.
We're gonna have the Blade Mail on the Legion, so it's gonna allow more DPS. They have a Midas on Fluff and stuff. And the Eggs on the Pugna. They have pretty good high ground defense. It's really...
Radiant's top
my problem is
shrine
that
under attack.
VGJ Storm, they'll probably
Radiant's
wait for the
top
Roshan.
shrine has
So
fallen.
with sure what they can do.
Yeah, it's not the most hopeful here for Team Rejects, but definitely not a reason to throw in the towel just yet either. I do have Blade Mail for Legion Commander just finished. Yeah, if they can get a quick pick on,
Radiant's top tower
I mean, ideally it would be, you know, terribly, right? But yeah, if you're LC, like, Razor is not really the greatest target to be jumping usually. I mean, it still could work, but as I say that, he's going to go on a Razor, funny enough, and it's going to be a kill. So I guess when he's by himself like that, then yes, it's a free kill.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I feel like if VGJ Storm they go for a push, you kind of want to duel the Slugger. He's really the only real stun that VGJ Storm has besides the Ice Path. So I feel like killing the Slugger has a lot of good implications for them. It's up actually.
They see that. We saw what happened last time though. So
yeah,
I'm sure the Radiant side is definitely in their recent memory as far as the flashback. We really want to do this. we know what can happen. So it's you even have a Yule's now picked up by Slaughter actually. He's starting to go in. Oh, Witch Doctor, he's dead. Yeah, he picked up the Invis thinking that, I'm just going to scout up here, but little did he know there's a Sentry Ward right there and a Ward that saw him that whole time. So that's going to give an opening. With Corrosive Haze, yeah, that's going to be a very quick Roche. They want to stop this, but it's not easy. They're trying. The Link is up on LC, so he's lost a lot of damage. Melts away. Meanwhile, he's staying dead. Doom is activated on Terrorblade. He's just going to run, though. He knows his team has plenty of damage around him, and he allows it to take care of Slardar. LC jumps back in, hoping for a big play, hoping to maybe snipe out Roshan. That ain't going to work. He'll go down as well, and all of a sudden, all 5 are dead, just like it happened 10 minutes ago or so, in favor of VGJ Storm, and they pick up the Aegis. And the cheese.
That's tough. I mean, they knew it would be hard to stop that push with Aegis on Terrorblade, so they tried to contest, but without Witch Doctor, it's a pretty hard task. They do have some buybacks, though.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, they do, and it's a point of they're just going to fortification though, and let the resurrection do its thing. But
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, your tier 3's dead, and very likely your Rax. The Storm is ready in 3 seconds. There we go with the wall combo and the vacuum of Darkseer, running after Sammy Boy. And Bluffenstuff comes in with a stomp himself. Actually, the Death Ward from a distance is going to scare off the dire side. They take down to the Maledict. Although the Yules could save him, and actually will keep him alive. The Crimson Guard mitigating plenty of damage as well, you gotta figure. And he doesn't have his Metamorphosis form just yet. As I say that, he's running in. He does still have his BKB. They do kill off Pugna with no buyback. Sammy Boy's also run down. Yarwar is dealing plenty still, especially with that. Pulls him up. He's gonna give him a winner, though. As a result, had to try to make a play once again. It ain't gonna work. GG, well played, is called. And game 2 in the series will go the way of VGJ Storm. Congrats to them. Well, Rejects, again, they put up a fight. It's just those 2 Roshans, though, man.
Yeah. I feel like their draft was on point. They really had an early game plan. It just they were probably feeling pretty good, but that Blink Dagger was just a pretty good play by VGJ Storm and the Razor. I mean, I have to commend him. He got such a bad early game, and he was able to bounce back, and was a pretty good tool in those late.
Yeah, he was. It was fun to watch later on. Like I said, we did mention he was struggling early, but it worked out. And really MVP though, MSS, that was huge. That blink and the 4-man crush and the end result from there. I mean, of course, Snake King's follow-up combo was big, and the Macapire on top, and that first Roshan that set up the eventual victory for VGJ Storm. So they take it 2-0. Again, it's the first match for both of these teams, I want to say, here in the group stages. So It's definitely not over yet for Team Rejects, but it's going to be a long journey, and definitely not one of the favorite teams, to say the least, but still able to put up some good competition, and we'll see what they can do in their next one, which looks like the schedule would be tomorrow against Complexity. So, Optic, ooh, that's a tough one. That's a good one. That's potentially the two teams that will be competing on top of the group here. So,
that's the rematch.
Bowie, though, that means we are going to conclude here, and double checking. Let me make sure I don't have any PMs from Sagedine or anything, but nope, doesn't look like it. Okay, I think we're actually good. I'd like to give my co-caster the chance. Any shout-outs, any final words before we do?
No, it was just a pleasure to have you here.
As well. Well, congrats to VGJ Storm once again, guys, with the victory here, 2-0. Again, you're tuning into the China Dota 2 Super Major, the qualifiers, that is, for the North American region. Day number 1 coverage stream. The other streams are still going on. Obviously, there's still other series happening. Plenty of good Dota. Complexity playing against Immortals after that. So I'm going to be watching. I don't know about you guys from the sideline there. Those should be fun. But wrapping up here on this stream. Have a good night.
All right, good night.